love minors. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors.
Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real?
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated?
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Oh, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off!
What is happening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Blunt Politics. I'm Boston Brian. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Today is Sunday. It is December 21st, 2025. And again, I thank you for donating your time, volunteering your time to be here and hear about the ridiculousness that's going on in today's politics, both inside the United States and outside of the United States. I once again wish everybody a happy and healthy holiday season, whatever holiday it is that you celebrate. I hope you have some wonderful times with not only friends, family members, but loved ones, whoever they may be. So from my house to yours, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa. Well, again, whatever it is you celebrate, I do appreciate you for being here. And again, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. And thank you for the time. What do you say we bring in the chat? Say hi to the best chat on the earth right now. Let me make you a little bigger so people can see you. There you are. Nope, there you are right here. You're right here. See you? There you are. Hi, guys. How's everything? How you doing? Appreciate you guys for being here. What's up, Etch? What's up, Karen? How are you? What's up, Greg? Evie's on. Thank you to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys hit that respective like button, thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever it may be on that platform. Also, check me out on both Blue Sky. Check me out on, what's the other one now? Substack at realbostonbrian.substack. Check it out over there. I've been putting out some of more the shorts and the videos and stuff over there. So just another way you can catch my content for free. Nothing behind a paywall. No charge whatsoever. I know some people charge apparently for their Substacks. That is not something that I'm kosher with, not something I want to see, and not something that I'm going to have done. So everything is going to remain free. If you want to see any part of my content, any piece of information or live or video or short that I've ever done, it's going to be available for you without coming out of pocket to pay $1. But in that regard, if you guys do have the ability and are in the financial position to help independent creators like myself, there are multiple different ways in which you can contribute. The easiest way is probably the Venmo. Just kind of take a picture of that, send a buck or two, a little thank you, cup of coffee, whatever it may be, and it goes a long way to help this channel. There's also a PayPal in a similar aspect that I throw up here. So if you have PayPal or Venmo, Cash App, any of those things, that's a great way to help the channel. You can also sign up not only underneath me here for a membership at YouTube, but you can also sign up at patreon.com/Boston Brian, or just do the old, send a super sticker, super chat in the chat. I can't thank you guys enough for your for your cooperation and you guys, the way that you contribute to this channel. Again, I thank you. That's all I can do. So lots to get into. Thank you to the chat. Thank you, Susie, Roxanne, Mr. Spock, Forever Young. What's up, Chris? What's up, Justice? How are you guys? I appreciate you very much. Thank you to all the mods who make sure that chat stays and remains a safe place. So thank you very much, guys. Let's say we get into it because, yes, the DOJ is once again caught red-handed in their ongoing cover-up that is the Epstein files. Again, I think it's something around, 16 files now that were originally released have now been taken back. I know the most probably prominent one that people are talking about is the picture of Donald Trump. I think it's number 48 it was in the list. And then people quickly found out that that had been removed. We do have Todd Blanche on with Kristen Welker explaining, or at least attempting to explain or propagandize the American people on some of those aspects. So we'll be diving into that. In a few different aspects, Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna talking about, contempt, talking about impeachment. So that's good. We have Jamie Raskin was also on with State of the Union, kind of giving his opinions on what's been going on. So we'll take a look at that. The United States has again seized another oil tanker. We also have been launching retaliatory strikes against ISIS in Syria for the killing of the 3 U.S. citizens there. So in case people weren't kind of up to date on what's been taking place there, just want to dive into a little bit of that. Again, the president of peace, the America first, no new wars, and this is what's being undertaken by this government. A lot of people not talking about it, probably a lot of people not even familiar with the fact that we undertook these retaliatory strikes. So that's the reason I just want to bring it up. We also have Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens going head-to-head, toe-to-toe. Ben Shapiro at the Turning Points conference, using his platform, using the stage to attack, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and others. And then Candace Owens using her incredibly large platform that she has now to go right back at Ben Shapiro. So again, right-wing on right-wing violence, political commentators on the right going after political commentators on the right, leaving the door open. If this was like a football play in the defense, this is basically like, again, you're driving down the field in football, and instead of the defense paying attention to what play you're calling and what, how you're lined up and what that might mean or what that might entail as to what plays you can run from those, from the positions that you're lined up at. No. What they're doing is the linebackers are actually smashing each other over the heads with their helmets. The cornerbacks are punching each other in the legs and the dicks and stuff like that. Nobody's paying attention to the offense. So basically what that's doing is the Democrats being on offense gives us the hole, gives us the availability, gives us, the options to get through the defense when they're not paying attention. Just kind of my analogy on that one. But that's what's going on. The right wing is totally enthralled, totally engulfed in combating their own rhetoric, combating their own side and people on different sides of these different fights that have kind of taken place now on the right. And they're just not paying attention to politics. They're just not paying attention to what the Democrats are doing, to, again, what the GOP is doing in terms of pissing off the American people and trying to combat that narrative. That's when they're at their most effective, when they're all kind of in unison, saying the same bullshit, taking the same talking points from Trump and Mike Johnson and the GOP and spewing those all over their platforms. That's when they're the most effective, lying about what Democrats want to do, lying about what Democrats have done in the past. And they're not taking that opportunity right now. And again, going into midterms, knowing the anger, the frustration, the anxiousness of the American public right now, whether it's because of the economy, the housing crisis, homelessness on the rise, the lack of job opportunity, unemployment, the tariffs, you name it. And that's not even talking about what we're, the ridiculousness we're dealing with both outside of the United States as well with our economic partners, with our allies as well. But yeah, all of that stacked up really goes to point into a direction that you would think that the right-wing media sphere, the echo chamber that is this right-wing base, would be more focused on trying to change the narrative and change the minds of the way the American people see their lives going right now under the second Trump administration. But again, they're not focused on that. And then if we have time, well, we should have time, but I want to dive into a little bit of Trump's speech in, North Carolina, I believe, because again, it's been a while since we've talked about him, kind of looked at one of his speeches, and I want to make sure that I'm bringing up and reassuring and reiterating to the American people just how incompetent, crazy, mindless, out of touch with reality, you name it, pick the adjective, pick the descriptive word that you could put in this position. And we need to continuously remind and show the American people what is in charge of this country right now and how bad it has gotten. So, we've taken a break from looking at, an extended clip or any extended clips of this asshole. But I think today we're going to dive into just a few aspects. I only have about probably 3 or 4 different clips from that speech. So again, we're not going to watch the whole thing. Fucking don't get scared. Not going to go through the whole thing, but about 4, maybe 3 or 4 different clips from that I want to take a look at, just to kind of, again, reiterate to the American people, reiterate to anybody watching just how dangerous this man is and how, again, crazy, dementia riddled, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're dealing with right now, and we can't forget it. I know there's a lot of aspects to politics that we've been talking about, but the ringleader, the guy in charge of it all, the guy responsible for it all is Donald J. Trump, and we need to make sure that we continuously call this shit out. All right, let's dive into this story here. This is again talking about the DOJ cover-up of the Epstein files and the removal of these 16 or so files. Again, files that people had already, screenshotted, seen out there. And then the DOJ is, and we'll listen to Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche is apparently trying to use, and I'm not a lawyer or a law expert, it seems like he's trying to use past law precedent to say that them being the DOJ, have ample time, even though the law states that they had till midnight, that they have ample time to redact the names of the victims, and there's case study and there's case precedent for that. If I'm getting, I only saw a little clip of what he said on with Kristen Welker, but if that's what I'm kind of getting from that, I want to know in the chat. Let me know what you guys get from it. What do you think the ploy is? But let's get into this. This is a CTV News, and it says anger grows as at least 16 files now missing from published Epstein documents. And again, like I said, we'll dive right into Todd Blanche on NBC with Kristen Welker this morning, getting pressed by Kristen Welker, well, for some of these questions, for some of the questions that the American public and the media has. All right, let's dive into this real quick, and then we'll go on. I appreciate you guys. Let me make this a little bit bigger on your screen. Hit that like button. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. We're diving into right now, again, this massive cover-up, the blatant cover-up taking place right in front of your face by the DOJ, by Donald Trump, and these 16 files or more, if not more, that were released but then taken back. And again, we'll hear the excuses put out by the DOJ. Let's dive into it.
At least 16 files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein have disappeared from the Justice Department's public webpage, including a photograph showing U.S. President Donald Trump. Now, this comes less than a day after they were posted, with no explanation from the Trump administration and no notice to the public.
And like I said, stay tuned, because right after this, we'll listen to Todd Blanche's explanation, or supposed explanation, on why this specific picture and the others were removed. And apparently it has something to do with, from what he says, the women in the picture, and nothing having to do with the fact that Donald Trump is also in both of these pictures. As you can see, this one, the famous picture with him, Melania, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Excuse me, as you can see my mouse. And then the one right below it, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct me in the chat, is also Trump with several females underneath. So this is the one that most people noticed right off the bat, was released and then taken back real quick. So we'll go on to, again, Todd Blanche's explanation, or excuse, I should say, on why that was done.
The U.S. Justice Department released thousands of records tied to Epstein's sex trafficking investigation Friday, and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says several 100,000 more will be released in the coming weeks.
It's absolutely critical that Donald Trump...
So I'll just go back here, because this was kind of, let me see if I can catch that one little screenshot they had there. Right here. So this is the screenshot. This is the evidence that most people were turning to when they noticed, in the numerical, the numerical depiction of these pictures. You could see that this, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, 6, 7, 8. Forgive me if I have that wrong. You can't really see it on the screen here, but basically people had noticed that the number was skipped. It had been removed. It had been taken out. I believe it went from 6, 7 to 6, 9, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously you could tell that the 6, 8 picture had been removed. And again, forgive me if I'm getting those numbers wrong, but you can get the gist of what I'm talking about, and how people, you can see how they're listed numerically, and it would be very clear to see if 57 had been taken out, it went from 56 to 58. It would be very fucking evident for people and obvious for them to notice, and that's exactly what happened.
It's absolutely critical that Donald Trump, as president of the United States, make sure that the Justice Department do its job now and release all of the files.
And again, that's fucking incredibly laughable. Forgive me, I'm not hugely familiar with what CTV is and what they're from. I saw this, and I figured it wasn't a CBS or ABC, so would probably listen to it. So I don't know who this gentleman is, but to think that Donald Trump is all of a sudden going to get on his high horse and get the DOJ into high gear and fucking have them release all these files is laughable, buddy. And forgive me if you're not, paying attention as closely as we are here in the United States. I'm not sure where he's from. This kind of seems like it might be a Canadian television. I'm not 100% sure, but just kind of my guess on this one. But clearly he's not following it as closely as he needs to be, because one would you'd have to be called an idiot to think that Donald Trump all of a sudden now is going to pressure the DOJ into doing the right thing. Sorry.
Now, the release includes photographs, call logs, grand jury testimony, and other documents. Among the photographs, former President Bill Clinton in a hot tub, the late Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, and rocker Mick Jagger with Epstein's girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, President Donald Trump's name appeared in a contact book, but it's not clear whose book it is. The Justice Department discovered more than 1,200 victims and their families in a review of the documents.
All right, now just to go on, let's see here if we can listen to the excuse given by Todd Blanche, again, the Deputy Attorney General to the DOJ, and what he says about these. This says 15 Epstein missing files. The other one referred to 16, so whether it's 15 or 16, this is Kristen Welker on Meet the Press with Todd Blanche, questioning him about these exact files that were removed. And let's hear these ridiculous answers from Todd Blanche, or excuses, I should say. Check this out.
Let's talk about the redactions, which you raised. The Epstein Files Transparency Act prohibits redactions, quote, on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. Has anything been redacted on that basis?
Absolutely, yes. Any mention of Donald Trump, again, I feel like we're all forgetting the 1,000 agents that were tasked in specifically redacting any mention of Donald Trump's name. And again, some of the redactions absolutely don't make sense. There's some scantily clad women that were obviously pictured in their scantily clad nature that had just basically their faces blurred out, but you could see the rest of them. Other pictures had the entirety of the picture blurred out. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really, even the redactions don't add up, because you could very easily hide somebody's identity while still showing people what the picture kind of consisted of, right? You can still give an idea of what this picture is while still clearly redacting the person's face. So then leads everybody to ask the question, why are there a multiple variety of different pictures that had the entire screen blacked out, or an entire image to, an overwhelming extent blacked out, when that shouldn't necessarily have to be the case, unless you were trying to hide somebody's complete identity, right? And not necessarily the victims, because we saw pictures of victims where they weren't totally blacked out. It was just their faces or what they were wearing or nudity or something like that, right? So even that doesn't really make sense or add up to the way that they were redacting these photos.
Absolutely, positively not. And that's another trend that is just simply false. There were a number of,
and again, the more fucking words he puts before that, before he says not, absolutely, positively, 100% confirmed. It is, in God knows, trustworthiness. I mean, the more words and adjectives he tries to say in front of no in that, the more I don't believe what he has to say. The more I believe he is fucking bullshitting to the American people. The more I think he's just making this up whole cloth, knowing that he's involved in a cover-up, while also getting instructions straight from Donald Trump to do exactly with what he's doing right now. So no, positively, absolutely, without a doubt, never fucking fails. Like, of course you're lying to us. Just slow your roll, back it down. You sound like less convincing than you would if you just answered like a fucking normal human being.
Photographs that were pulled down after being released on Friday. That's because a judge in New York has ordered us to listen to any victim or victim rights group if they have any concerns about the material that we're putting up.
Okay, so that would suggest, okay, ladies and gentlemen, this now suggests that because of this judge's ruling in New York, that somebody, since the release of these files the other day, right, since the release of the files, that somebody has complained about these pictures and what they show. So shouldn't at least the Attorney General or the Deputy Attorney General be able to provide such I don't know, phone calls, grievances, at least where those came from? You don't have to give specific names, but I'm sure they're represented by an attorney or an organization. And if that was the case, if they had said, hey, right, and this is what he's trying to get across, he's trying to say that somebody recognized the pictures, possibly said that there was a reason why they needed to be redacted, and then they pulled these pictures to, do more work on them, to do more studies and redactions on them to make sure that they weren't. That's what he's trying to get across. So he should be very easily able to provide us with information on who made the calls, how many calls, and what exact pictures those had to deal with, right? Because it seems to me, and it seems to like everybody else, like the only reason that one specific picture we referenced was taken down is because it had Donald Trump's face in it with a bunch of women, and he didn't like it very much that people were bringing that up on social media, and that the DOJ forgot to redact his face in these ones. That seems to be the case for everybody else. But if you're suggesting that maybe some organizations or lawyers representing some victims or people in this instance kind of called and used the judges in New York, his ruling saying that they could kind of do this and they would have to then redact it, you should be able to provide the evidence that those calls came through, or who they're from, or who they're representing, or something like that. To, you know, and again, in my amateur opinion, not knowing, case study law, that sort of thing, right hand up, totally not a lawyer, but that would just be my first instinct. Like, if you're going to say somebody else is responsible for those pictures coming down, then you should be able to provide the evidence to suggest or to prove that those calls actually came through and that you didn't do it on your own accord, based on the defense of Donald Trump.
When we hear concerns, whether it's
Oh,
photographs
my
of women
apologies. Let me put it back on the screen. That would help, because if I'm watching it, you guys should be able to watch it.
that we do not believe are victims, or we didn't have information to show that they were victims, but we learned that there are concerns, of course we're taking that photograph down and we're going to address it. If we need to redact faces or other information, we will.
And this is where, if I was Kristen Welker, an actual journalist, a real journalist trying to get to the bottom of this, doing, journalism, and had journalistic integrity, I would then ask him, okay, in this specific picture, and again, I'm not saying that she doesn't, I didn't watch this whole thing, I wanted to watch it with you guys, I only dove into the first couple minutes, but wouldn't you then ask him about this specific picture and then say, okay, what was the specific reason for this right here, this picture, for this one to be taken out after it was already released? What is this? Do you now believe that he was pictured with victims? Because that would seemingly make this even worse for Donald Trump, right? If you had to take this picture out of circulation because now somebody has called and said, no, I'm actually a victim of this crime. I'm actually a victim of Jeffrey Epstein or Donald Trump or Ghislaine Maxwell or Prince Andrew or Bill Clinton, whoever the fuck it is, and then you have to pull this to redact their faces. You now put up a picture with Donald Trump and victims, or at least alleged, supposed victims in this case, which makes it 10 times worse for Donald Trump. It's better for Donald Trump almost if he's let this picture stay out there and they weren't victims. Like, these women were never brought up, or they're never named as victims in this case. At least he would have that going for him, but he can't even say that now. If this picture is now going to come back out, right, to the suggestions of what Todd Blanche is saying, that they now have to redact the photo, even though it was already released and we have the unredacted photo. Again, nothing really adds up as far as the answers, what they released, the method of redactions doesn't really add up in my book. Never has.
We'll put it back up. So we are in every way, shape, and form complying with the statute.
Bullshit. Just fucking absolute horseshit. The statute said that you had to, the statute signed by President Donald fucking Trump, your guy, right, said that you had to provide these documents in a timely manner, and that time was by midnight on the 19th, if I'm not mistaken. That you did not comply with, right? And whether or not it's because you say you had to go through these files and redact everything, you should have been prepared for that. Pam Bondi said fucking months ago these documents were on her desk, ready to be fucking gone through, ready to be prepared for release, right? If Donald Trump was serious about transparency and wanting to get these files out there, he's had 11 fucking months to instruct you guys to redact everything that necessarily needs to be redacted so that it could be released to the public without putting anybody in harm's way, without putting any victim in jeopardy. Right? So if he was deadly serious about this transparency bullshit that he fucking rails about, if he was deadly serious about, releasing these files like you give him credit for, then why the fuck did you guys start when the law was signed and having to redact victims' names? But we know that you had 1,000 agents, FBI agents, if I'm not mistaken, tasked in redacting Donald Trump's name months ago. Why are we more focused, or why were you more focused on taking Donald Trump's name out of the Epstein files, more so than you were in protecting and finding accountability and justice for the victims in this case, right? Because you've had 11 fucking months, and before that, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Tucker Carlson, the rest of these fucking morons said that you guys were going to get in there and break down the whole wall, break down this whole case. You're going to feed us everything. So you'd think the moment you guys got the fuck in there that's what you'd be working on, but it doesn't seem like that's what happened, is it? It seems like you're almost caught behind the schedule, caught behind the train, right? When Donald Trump signed this law, and then you had to fucking kick into high gear from what I'm gathering by what you're saying, to fucking redact and get all the information redacted, and now there were mistakes made because of the hurriedness, right? Because of the incompetency. And now you're trying to fix those mistakes, and you're getting called out for it. And now it's becoming even more evident and obvious to the American people that there's an ongoing cover-up that the DOJ, the FBI, and the President of the United States is now actively engaged in. So again, you're only digging your fucking hole deeper here, and nothing you're saying is adding up, and it's raising more questions than it's giving answers.
By the way, is what President Trump has been asking us to do since before he was elected. There is nothing that he has to hide in the Epstein files. There never.
Then why were you guys not prepared? Why did you guys now violate federal law, the same federal law signed into law by Donald fucking Trump? Right, you would think, if as the deputy attorney general, right, you would kind of, I don't know, maybe have a meeting or maybe talk to the president if something that he just signed into law wasn't physically possible. The time frame that he signed into law wasn't possible for you guys to comply with, which is what I'm hearing right now, right? You know, he's talking about the extent of the files, the extent, the multitude, the numerical, numbers that they have to deal with. Well, you guys should have been prepared a long fucking time ago, instead of, being caught on the back foot here when this law actually was signed and now given some bullshit excuse as to why a mere fraction of these files were actually released during the time frame that you were lawfully obligated to release these files in.
Was. And even though there's repeated attempts by Democrats to paint him as being part of the Epstein saga, it's failing over and over again. And so you should not be surprised that
it is not failing, A, and B, it's not some Democrat attempt, right? This is the facts say what the facts say. The flight logs say what the flight logs say. The pictures, the photographs, the fucking videos of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump together for years tell us what we need to know. Those are the facts of the case. We know that FBI agents, like we've been saying, were tasked with removing Donald. If he wasn't involved, if he wasn't named in these files, why were 1,000 agents tasked in blacking out his name and redacting his name? How can you answer both of those questions? You can't. It doesn't make any fucking sense, right? And this is years of knowledge, years of evidence and testimony known to the American public, right? Known to the world. And it's not just some Democratic fucking hoax or ploy or whatever he's trying to get across now.
Material that we released on Friday, or the material that we're going to release over the next couple of weeks, is exactly what the statute requires us to release, which is everything that we have from this case.
The statute required you to release this information by a certain deadline. You did not comply with that deadline. Therefore, you violated federal fucking law. Period. Point blank. End of story. Fucking black and white, cut and dry. No more fucking notes necessary. That's it. Period. Point blank. You can come up with whatever fucking excuse and fucking precedent that you think you're going to sit on, but it's clear to everybody and their mothers that you violated the same federal law that Donald Trump signed. That's period. That's it. That's facts. Fucking facts.
The exception of redacting personal information from victims and other statutes, privileges and things like that. Otherwise, everything's getting produced.
Mr. Blanchard, I want to follow up with you on what you just said. You were referencing the 15 files released Friday. They disappeared from DOJ's website yesterday, including this photo of what looks like a desk with a drawer open containing photos.
And again, this is just to make everybody, just so everybody's clear, this is the photo in question, the main photo, I should say, one of the main photos in question that everybody realized had been taken off the shelf, so to speak. And again, Donald Trump clearly pictured here. You can see my mouse. Donald Trump clearly pictured here with Melania. You can just see half of Melania's head and Ghislaine Maxwell. Jeffrey Epstein being blocked out by the other picture books here. And then you can see also just underneath Trump, a second picture of Trump with again, it's hard to tell if they're women or girls, but obviously some in bikinis, some in more than bikinis. But what Todd Blanche is trying to get us to believe is that somebody called about this picture and basically said that there was either an underage girl in the picture or a victim in the picture. That's the only two things that I could fucking think of that would allow or force the DOJ to remove this and either do further redactions or pull it all together. I'm not sure what the intent is. It almost seems like what he was saying was that they were going to do further redactions and then kind of put these documents back out there. Whether that's going to happen, I'm very skeptical, and I definitely wouldn't fucking hold my breath. I can tell you that much. But again, you should have the evidence of the calls, of the reports, whatever that was filed to say, hey, I am either pictured in that picture and I'm underage, so I'd like you to take that off, or I'm a direct victim in this case, pictured with Donald Trump in that picture. Can you please take that off? What other options are there? So again, looks 10 times more shady now that they had to remove this than it did when it was first fucking revealed, right? That's just again more facts.
Trump, just to be very clear, to put a fine point on it, why were these files taken down? You're saying it was at the direction of a judge?
Well, you can see in that photo, there's photographs of women. And so,
okay, so it doesn't answer, right? No direct answer to, hey, was that a specific request or an order from a judge? No, but what he references was a past ruling, I guess, by a New York judge stating what he stated earlier, basically that, I'll let him go on, but it's bullshit is what it is.
we learned after releasing that photograph that there were concerns about those women and the fact that we had put that photo up. So we pulled that photo down. It is nothing.
Okay, so what are the concerns? Give us the concerns. Kristen Welker, ask about those specific concerns. Are they concerned that there's an underage girl in that photo? Are they concerned that they're victims in that photo? If so, can you explain why Donald Trump is pictured with both an underage girl or at the same time victims in this fucking crime? Hence, wouldn't that be a great journalistic question to ask of the fucking Deputy Attorney General, now providing us with bullshit and propaganda for the President of the United States, who was best friends with the fucking monsters who perpetrated this fucking years-long sex trafficking crime of children? I don't know, just thinking of journalistic integrity, somebody that's not a journalist. I fucking rightly admit I'm not a journalist. I'm not, a reporter. I am a schmuck. I am a blue collar guy that finds it very necessary to dive into these fucking political topics because the government ain't treating us right. And then it doesn't matter what we do in our daily lives if the fucking government's going to continue step on our fucking necks and put us out of business and make it impossible to live our daily lives. Then this is the most important thing. It doesn't matter what you do. You can work as hard as you want. You can bust your fucking balls. And if the government doesn't take care of you, if they're stripping your rights, if they're making it more difficult to get health care, to fucking afford a home, to raise a family, then it doesn't fucking matter, does it? So that's why I find this to be important. And to have this fucking asshole now sitting here covering up for these fucking, egregious monsters that perpetrated these crimes. And to have Kristen Welker not step up where fucking journalists should step up in the moment where they need to step up is really fucking frustrating. And it's not the first time that she's pissed me off in this regard. And again, people are kind of giving her credit for asking the fuck that. She needs to do a much better job, as does every reporter, every so-called journalist, and everybody now on fucking a mainstream media outlet that has these assholes on. Don't let them do the whataboutisms. Don't let them point in another fucking direction. Don't let the bullshit slide. No fucking propaganda. Hit them with the follow-up questions and fucking hammer it home until they stutter their ass off your fucking set.
Do with President Trump. There are dozens of photos of President Trump already released to the public, seeing him with Mr. Epstein. He has said that in the 90s and early 2000s, he socialized with him. So the absurdity of us pulling down a single photo, because President Trump was in it, is laughable. And the fact that everybody's
just lends to the aspect of that picture that it is either somebody underage in the photo that shouldn't be depicted while they're underage, and at the same time, victims in this case. If you guys in the chat can give me any other explanation, if it has nothing to do with the fact that Donald Trump is pictured and everything to do with the women, what are the only reasons in which they redact the women's faces, or they would redact the girls' faces in this? Hit me in the chat, because those are the two reasons that I can think of: underage or directly a victim, if not both. That's it.
Act like that's the case is a reflection of their true motivation. But the reality is anybody, any victim's lawyers, any victim rights group can reach out to us and say, hey, Department of Justice, there's a document, there's a photo, there's something within the Epstein files that identifies me. And we will then, of course, pull that off and investigate.
That's Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General of the fucking Department of Justice, now admitting that there's a victim in the picture there with Donald Trump. Correct? Because he says there that it is the victims and the lawyers of the victims that have the ability, as he talked about by that judge in New York, given the ability to say, hey, I'm photographed in that. I'm pictured in this. That video has me in it. My name is in this document. Can you please, by law, remove my name from that? Or I'm a victim in this case. I have an ongoing investigation open, whatever it may be. But they have the ability, per what he's saying. So what he's saying is directly that Donald Trump in that picture is photographed with, again, somebody underage, or at the same time, or a fucking victim in this case. Can you determine anything else from this? All right, one more time. Listen.
hey, Department of Justice, there's a document, there's a photo, there's something within the Epstein files that identifies me, and we will then, of course, pull that off.
One second. Sorry, I missed it. Let me go back again. Here you go.
Like that's the case is a reflection of their true motivation.
Listen,
but the reality is anybody, any victim's lawyers, any victim rights group can reach
any victim's lawyers, or any human rights group representing a victim, I'm sure, in this case, has the ability to say, hey, take my fucking photo off, redact my face, take my name off of that document. So what you're saying is in that specific photograph, and how none of the producers or Kristen Welker are like, hey, maybe I should ask him about that specific photograph and whether or not there's an actual fucking victim in that photograph, or an underage girl that he's pictured with so fucking happily in that photograph. Maybe I should probably press him on that. But no, I don't think she does. Maybe she does, but I'm not holding my breath.
Out to us and say, hey, Department of Justice, there's a document, there's a photo, there's something within the Epstein files that identifies me, and we will then, of course, pull that off and investigate it.
Are you saying that one or more of the women in...
All right, so maybe I'll eat my words. I apologize. I probably should wait till she asks the question, but I have no problem eating crow. If she does ask that specific question, I'll give credit where credit is due. But again, like I said, you can tell I didn't pre-watch this.
One of the photos or several of the photos is a victim or a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein, and that's why you took those files down?
See, she almost had it, and she almost had it. She kind of had it. She didn't, but she tries to beat around. Asked about that specific photo or any photo relating to do with the president of the United States or Donald Trump. That's it. Specific. Boom. We know that picture. 48, whatever it was numbered. It was taken off. That specific photo of Donald Trump on Jeffrey Epstein's desk. Was he pictured with any victims or underage girls? Yes or no? Right? And again, she kind of touches on it and like half flowers, half credit, I guess, for at least touching on it a little bit or asking that question. But be more specific, be more direct, be more fucking aggressive. I mean, the specific question, the specific picture we're talking about. Reference it specifically. That way, the American public can put a face and an answer to the picture that they know was taken off.
And will they be put back up?
No, that's not what I'm saying. We, of course, if we knew that, if we believed that photograph contained a survivor, we wouldn't have put it up in the first place without redacting the faces. But
okay, wait a minute. So you're saying if it was actually somebody that was a survivor or a victim in this case, you would have noticed it to begin with, but you didn't notice it to begin with. You put it out, but then you're saying after it was put out, a victim or a lawyer from a victim of a victim or a human rights group called and said that it was a victim or somebody that was underage. Again, how they can't have it, they can't have their cake and eat it too. Donald Trump does this all the time. He puts himself on all sides of any argument. That way, no matter who's asking him a question, he has some instance he can point to that he corroborated or defended that stance, no matter what it is. He just plays all sides, and no matter who he's talking to, or depending on who he's talking to, that's how he's going to use that rhetoric. It's the same thing here. You can't say, hey, no, of course there's not. We wouldn't have fucking ever put that picture out, while at the same time saying that you did put the picture out and took it down because you received calls from a victim's lawyer, a victim directly, or a human rights organization. That's not making sense to anybody, especially me, right? I mean, agreed in the chat? Agreed?
Notwithstanding what we believe, we don't have perfect information. And so when we hear from victims' rights groups about this type of photograph, we pull it down and investigate. We're still investigating.
Victims' rights groups defending the rights of who, Todd? Sing it with me. Sing it with me, brother. Fucking sing it with me. They are groups defending the rights of whom? Victims. Victims lawyers, victims themselves, of fucking human rights groups defending victims. Again, you're giving the answer away. I know you're not meaning to. I know you're trying to get away, trying to get out of this without giving up too much. But it seems like to me, the only thing that we could pull away from this entire fucking thing is that there was an underage girl or a victim pictured with Donald Trump. And that is the exact reason why that picture had been removed. Because I would only assume, and I could only assume, that because of the way the law was written, even if you received a call from somebody that purported to be in one of these pictures or purported to be a victim or purported to be underage, and then you did your research or you did the work or the investigatory work to figure out that that wasn't the case, then you would put the picture back up because it was already involved in the original release and obviously deemed, well enough or clean enough, so to speak, to be released. So it wouldn't make sense for you then to hold it, from the American public or from the world, I should say, if you, again, determine that there is no wrongdoing, there is no reason for that picture to be redacted. You guys get what I'm saying?
Getting that photo. The photo will go back up, and the only question is whether there will be redactions on the photo. And
okay, so that will be the smoking gun, right? Shouldn't that tell us the smoking gun? If that picture now goes back up and either Donald Trump's face is redacted, a woman's or girl's face is redacted, or multiple women or girls' faces are redacted, that would lead us to believe that that is another picture or one of the first pictures that has been put out by the DOJ directly picturing Donald Trump, the current president of the United States, with victims or an underage girl in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. There is no other conclusion to come out with, right? You only have so many reasons, so many fucking excuses to use as to redact or withhold information. So it has to comply with one of only a few reasons that you have to redact faces. So there's no big world of excuses that you could give us. It's very narrowed down. It's very tailored as to why or how you guys could use, or at least by the law, the way the law is written, how you could use redactions. So you can't go off in this fucking fantasy world of, giving us all the possibilities when those are specifically written in the way the law is written.
of course, if there are survivors in any of the photos, we will redact them as Congress expects us to do.
Thank you guys. Hold on, let me throw this back up there. Thank you to Boston Mary 9319 for the $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate you. And everybody else, Kyle, Colleen, Jess, and Danny. Thank you so much. Wes, you guys are fantastic. Colleen again, Kathleen. Thank you so much. And again, to everybody gifting in the chat or sending in a Venmo, I do at the end of every single podcast, I do make sure to recognize and highlight anybody that contributed financially to the program. So again, if you contribute, you send me a nice message and I don't see it or as it's going by in the chat, live, don't fret. Don't worry about it. Stick around to the end of the show, and I make sure to read all the chats, highlight, and congratulate and thank every single person for contributing to the show. So I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. Whether it be again Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, or here on YouTube. Thank you guys very, very much. I do appreciate it.
Trump expects us to do, and as the Attorney General and Director Patel have directed the department to do.
Okay, let's delve more deeply into the redactions. Is any information about President Trump redacted in any of the files that have or will be released?
No, not unless it's...
How could he possibly say that? Listen to this question.
Okay, let's delve more deeply into the redactions. Is any information about President Trump redacted in any of the files that have or will be released?
No, not unless it's...
How? Okay, let me just... Oh, Jesus Christ. 1,000 FBI redact Trump. Okay, just... Did Graham demand Epstein? Let me see here. Trump will promise and deliver the FBI. Here you go. There you go. This is just one of the many articles written on during that. The FBI's redacted Trump's name in the Epstein files. The Bureau's FOIA team, tasked with conducting a final review of the records, blacked out the names before higher-ups said last month that releasing the documents would not be appropriate or warranted. Let's see when this is from. This is written August 1st, 2025, right? So we could talk about that one. And then there was the FBI agents. Let's see here. Because of everything that's going on right now. Personnel, yeah, here we go. Here's another one. FBI personnel were told to flag Epstein files mentioning Trump. Senate Democrat says Dick Durbin questioned DOJ leadership over handling of the Epstein files, including reports that FBI personnel were told to, quote, flag any mentions of Trump. Now, why would you flag the mentions of Donald Trump if you didn't intend on either redacting or just completely withholding that information from people, right? So in a series of oversight letters written to Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Deputy Director Dan Bongino, Durbin questioned Bondi about contradictions in her public statements on the case. Patel about reports that he was pressured by Bondi to place 1,000 personnel on 24-hour shifts to mine roughly 100,000 Epstein-related documents, right? And Bongino about reported disputes among Trump officials about the lack of transparency in their handling of the high-profile case, right? So it says, suggested FBI personnel specifically instructed to flag any mentions of Trump. My office was told that these personnel were instructed to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned. Why were personnel told to flag records in which President Trump was mentioned? And then he asked, what happened to the records mentioning President Donald Trump? So again, multitude of agencies and articles that you could talk about written on this. But to have this moron now, insult your intelligence to the point where he says that nothing having to do with Donald Trump was redacted, no pictures, no statements, no, his name anywhere, right, is just absolutely fucking asinine and should piss you off to the point of anger, right? That these people think that you are so gullible, that you are so fucking deluded and stupid, right? You are so removed from what's actually happening in reality. You are so easily gullible and propagandized that they can fucking feed you this line of bullshit on, again, one of the more prominent news shows that people watch here, Meet the Press, whatever, right? And expect you to walk away from this believing the shit that he said and not what you saw with your own eyes, not what you've seen reported over the last 11 months in Trump's second term. And if that doesn't, again, piss you off that the government is treating you like they treat their own MAGA cult, like they treat their own MAGA base, like absolute fucking morons that would believe any and everything told to them, right? They could step and fall in a fucking pile of shit. And as long as Donald Trump tells you it was fucking chocolate, right, they'll start eating their own shoes. So, I mean, let's not fall into that fucking trap. So your righteous anger right now, right? This righteous accountability you want to see for this fucking administration. Don't let them fucking propagandize you. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them bullshit you. Don't let you start questioning what you know, what you've seen with your own eyes, what you've read through different reporting from corroborated and confirmed fucking, sources, right?
Supposed to be redacted under the law, which means victim information or any sort of privilege, like attorney-client privilege. But I have no reason to believe that the lawyers that were working on this case were talking about President Trump, because he had nothing to do with the Epstein files. He had nothing.
Nothing to do with the, ladies and gentlemen, do you for a second have one single reason to believe, whether you like Donald Trump, if there's any maggots in here, please let me know. If there's any conservatives or Republicans, even if you're not a Trump fan, but you still support the right, let me know. Is there a single fucking minuscule of evidence or reason to believe or suggest that Donald Trump has no affiliations, no mentioning, no relationship, no nothing with the Epstein files? Anything? I mean, just the pictures that we've seen, just the fucking his name on the flight logs would be enough. That is him involved with the Epstein files. So you're now listening to, again, the Deputy Attorney General for the United States lying directly to your fucking face and asking you and telling you and making you, and hopeful that you'll forget everything that you've seen in the past. The flight logs, Jeffrey Epstein's fucking long-term relationship, the underage girls that were poached from the fucking spa at Mar-a-Lago to enter Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking, child trafficking ring, right? Wishing Ghislaine Maxwell well, right? We have that fucking clip we could play. Ghislaine Maxwell's preferential treatment that she's received after Todd Blanche met with her during Donald Trump's administration, where she's seen this cushy transfer to a prison she's not legally able to be at, per the crimes that she committed, per the requirements of the Bureau of Prisons for people that have been convicted of the crimes she's been convicted of. But no. Somehow she found this fucking magic waiver flying out of her ass when this administration just happened to fucking give her a bone, right? Hand her a fucking stick while she's falling over the ledge and everybody's trying to fucking step on her face to drown her, rightfully so. But no, now she gets a dog. She's out fucking breathing fresh air like she shouldn't be able to do. There was just a recent here. I'll show you. If this doesn't fucking piss you off, here you go. Let's see. Maxwell exercising. Sorry, I spelled that completely wrong, but I think you'll. Yeah, there you go. There you go. If this doesn't fucking piss you off. Now, why is this bitch breathing fresh air? That's what I want to know. Why is this bitch breathing fresh air? Why is she get to see the sunlight? For some reason, it's not playing. Yes. Open. Open. Oh, for crying out loud. Well, anyway, it's a picture of her walking around the yard. For some reason, I don't know. Fox News sucks. It's a Fox News clip, so maybe they're not working right now. But it's a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell out jogging around in the fucking freedom, in the air, outside in the rec yard, right? Something that she absolutely should not be afforded the ability to do, in my opinion, right? That bitch should never see the fucking light of day ever again. And if she breathes air, it should be from somebody else's fucking lungs, right? It should be secondary air that she has to fucking suck in. She shouldn't even be allowed to breathe the same air as the fucking people on this earth. But again, that's just my opinion.
To do with the horrific crimes that Mr. Epstein committed. And so I don't expect there will be anything redacted, but the short answer is we are not redacting information around President Trump, around any other individual involved with Mr. Epstein. And that narrative, which is not based on fact at all, is completely false.
The White House has said that President Trump is included in the files. Can you guarantee that every mention...
Okay, so why not just question him right off the bat? So how do you put your statement with Donald Trump has no involvement in the Epstein files with the statement from the White House saying that he has involvement in the Epstein files? Just right up, doesn't that not make sense? The Deputy Attorney General for the United States and the White House saying two totally fucking contradicting things?
And every photo of President Trump in the Epstein files will be released.
Yes. Yes, I mean,
okay, so there are definitely more photos of Donald Trump in the Epstein files. Good. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate you for confirming that. And again, just for the sake of time, that's enough of his lies and bullshit on this. He goes on to, again, try to further spew nonsense and propagandize the American people. But let's play this real quick, because this is just a quick 41-second clip of Thomas Massie speaking about his intentions with Rep. Ro Khanna, apparently to either draft articles of impeachment for Pam Bondi, or in this case, he says draft inherent contempt charges against Attorney Pam Bondi over the failed release of the Epstein files. So just to kind of see the actions, or at least some of the actions that may be taken in this instance against the DOJ and Pam Bondi more specifically, let's dive into just a little bit of this clip. And again, real quick, less than a minute.
What are you going to do about it to force them to comply? I mean, can you do anything?
Oh, absolutely. Look, people have talked about, and by the way, Todd Blanche is the face of this, but it's really the Attorney General's office, Pam Bondi, who is responsible. And there are several ways to get at this. Some take longer, some are shorter. The quickest way, and I think most expeditious way to get justice for these victims, is to bring inherent contempt against Pam Bondi. And that doesn't require going through the courts. And give her, and basically Ro Khanna and I are talking about and drafting that right now.
So again, I'm not sure what is more, it seems like they're trying to do what is more expedient or the easiest path in order to get some sort of, I don't know, accountability in this matter. So whether that's the articles of impeachment that they were referencing, or if it's just, contempt charge, I'm not sure. I was a little bit shocked to see that Tim Kaine was questioned about this, and he said it was premature to be talking about impeachment, which is ridiculous considering the egregious incompetency and lies to the American people we've seen come from the DOJ, whether it be Todd Blanche or Pam Bondi. I think that's absolutely warranted even before any of this debacle from the Epstein files. But I was a little taken aback to hear that. But yes, good to hear that Tom Massie and Ro Khanna are still, pressing, putting the gas and putting the pressure on Pam Bondi, whether that's inherent contempt charges or, again, the files of impeachment that they were talking about. Here's another one where Rep. Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie confirmed they are actively drafting articles of impeachment and inherent contempt charges against Attorney General Pam Bondi over the DOJ's failure to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. They do not, though they have not yet decided on whether to formally bring them. This is how serious the violation is. And then, again, let's just
whether
a minute from them.
Move it forward. Yes.
Attorney General Pam Bondi. Some Democrats are saying she should resign, including Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Are you considering impeachment for the Attorney General if you don't feel that the Justice Department complies with your law?
Thomas Massie and I talked about it. He's working, as am I, on drafting articles of impeachment and inherent contempt. We haven't decided whether to move it forward yet, but we're in the process of doing it. And look, the problem that the attorney general has, if you just look at the comments to our social media feed, is the amount of MAGA influencers who are upset with her. And the issue for her is not, are there going to be 212 Democrats who would support it? The issue for her is how many Republicans and MAGA supporters would support it. So my hope, because my hope has never been about Pam Bondi getting justice or Todd Blanche getting justice. My hope is she looks at this. She looks at the outrage that MAGA has. She looks at the disappointment that the survivors have. And she makes a decision over the next 2 weeks to actually start releasing these documents, because she may lose more Republicans in the House than she anticipates.
So y'all are drafting articles of impeachment. I mean, how will you decide if you're going to file that?
Well, one is a pragmatic decision in terms of impeachment is a political decision. And is there the support in the House of Representatives? I mean, Massey and I aren't going to just do something for the show of it. But my sense is, just looking at the initial reaction.
And again, I would fucking struggle to believe that he wouldn't have overwhelming support. Again, knowing that the Republicans, recently have been willing to reach across the aisle to vote, to force a vote for the ACA subsidies, for the Obamacare vote. A lot of Republicans have been open in speaking against Donald Trump about the Epstein files. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, probably the two most prominent that you could speak of. But those aren't the only ones, right? So I have trouble believing that all Democrats wouldn't be on board with this. And not only that you couldn't get at least a handful, if not more, Republicans to sign on with, pressuring Pam Bondi at the very least. And again, I don't know if the contempt is more of the secondary option here, where they don't need as much support. I'd have to kind of look into the way the rules and the regulations were written as far as how that goes in the House and stuff like that. But, it's definitely something that's good to be, something that's good to see, where we do have politicians that are actively trying to keep the pressure on, keep the gas on Pam Bondi and to, not let up on the pressure, and, them, talking about how they violated their own federal law by not complying with this Transparency Act. So, good to see from them at least. So, but let's dive on to this. Oh, thank you, Ricky. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted there. I really do appreciate that. It's very, very kind of you. Please make sure we're thanking Ricky. 10 wonderful people in the chat just received a membership thanks to Ricky. So thank you so much, Ricky. Appreciate that. All right, let's dive into, and this is just another real quick, just to kind of keep everybody up to speed, updated as to what the administration is undertaking as far as military actions, military strikes, retaliatory strikes, in this aspect in Syria for the killing of the U.S. citizens, the 2 military service members, and I believe the 1 civilian, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let's dive into this. Is just real quick, less than 3 minutes to give us the insight, a little update on what's been going on with these strikes, just so everybody knows, and we can put this in the category of, again, Donald Trump not being the president of peace, not having peace in the Middle East, right? If this is peace in the Middle East, I'd like MAGA, I'd like Republicans, I'd like conservatives to explain to me how that goes, as, again, we're releasing footage of retaliatory strikes in the Middle East. So again, just a real quick, just to get everybody caught up, this is NBC News talking about U.S. launching retaliatory strikes on ISIS targets in Syria.
Good evening. We are coming on the air with breaking news right now out of the Middle East. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth saying that the Pentagon has just launched retaliatory strikes on ISIS targets in Syria in response to an attack that killed American troops last weekend. I want to get straight to our senior national security correspondent, Courtney Cuby, who joins us live. Courtney, again, these were in retaliation for that ambush attack that happened on those 2 National Guard troops from Iowa.
And again, just to keep everybody aware, I do believe that we have something like, let's see, I do believe we have something like 2,000 U.S. troops still in Syria. Let's see, U.S. troops currently in Syria. Let's see. The U.S. conducts strikes. And again, this is putting them directly in harm's way for further retaliation. Let's see if I can find this. All AI mode. Let's see. U.S. troops, number of troops. All right, so as of December 2025, there are approximately 1,000 U.S. troops currently stationed in Syria. This force level is a reduction from the roughly 2,000 troops that were in the country at the end of 2024. So somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 U.S. troops, let's say, still inside of, and I'll just throw this on the screen, still inside of Syria. So as we're conducting these retaliatory strikes, right, for the already acts of the attacks perpetrated on our servicemen and women in Syria, what does that, don't you think that paints a bigger target? Don't you think that makes them, the 1,000 or so U.S. troops in Syria a bigger fucking, a more justified target now for these people, for ISIS? You see how that happens? See, when Donald Trump undertakes a strike or undertakes some military action, how it's not his ass he's putting on the line, how it's not his fucking livelihood, how it's not his freedom or life that is put on the line, but the livelihoods and the service of the servicemen and women that undertake these strikes, that are in these fucking areas that Donald Trump makes these ridiculous fucking deals for, whether it be Afghanistan, right, in the releasing of 5,000 Taliban members just as we're about to pull out of the country, which is beyond ridiculous. And there's multiple examples we could give on that front. But to think that we're now talking about, these ridiculous strikes in Syria, and again, not to say that there shouldn't be some action taken or whatever it may be, but I don't know. I think we can do it in a way where it doesn't paint a huge target on the 1,000 or so servicemen and women that are now actively stationed in Syria with these ISIS troops, while Donald Trump's sitting in his fucking golden air-conditioned ballroom, whatever the fuck, handing out these orders, again, like Adolf Hitler was doing in his last couple weeks in the bunker, just kind of playing military, playing general.
Yeah, that's right. Just about a week ago, we heard that news, the ambush near Palmyra, which is in central Syria. It's not too far from where the U.S. actually has a military garrison there in southern Syria known as
jeez, it's fun. It's not even that far away from where the actual United States garrison is. Isn't that great? We're actually bringing the fight to the United States fucking bases. We're actually bringing the fight closer to where the troops are stationed. Isn't that's wonderful? Just fucking bring them on in. Bring them on in. I know you have us vastly outnumbered at this point in time, considering we only have roughly 1,000 troops here. But let's bring the strikes in a little closer. Let's tell them right where we are. Let's piss them off a little bit more so they retaliate against the troops that are in the area.
But Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth today announcing via social media the beginning of what he called Operation Hawkeye Strike. It's an effort to eliminate additional ISIS.
And the names that these, I don't know. It's, again, there's no more descriptive way to talk about this than, again, little kids playing war. Playing World War II, playing general, right? What should we call this operation? Let's call it Operation fucking Hawkeye Strike. Let's call it Operation Hammer, right? Thor's dick. You know what I mean? Shut the fuck up, you fucking addled-brained morons leading the fucking Department of War. Oh, boy.
Locations throughout Syria. Now, the types of locations that they're going to hit in these.
And I think it was something, we're not talking about like 5 or 10 or 15 strikes. I think this was somewhere between 70 and 100 individual strikes undertaken, if I'm not mistaken. Again, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong on that number. I believe that was the number I heard reported.
Operations would be infrastructure. So,
but peace in the Middle East. Right. Peace. Congratulations to Donald Trump, like MAGA likes to say, for peace in the Middle East. But also, let me report on Operation Hawkeye Strike Thunder Death. Fucking Grim Reaper. Okay, again, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't tell me about peace in the Middle East while also trying to give him credit for these 100 different strikes he's conducting in the Middle East.
This is where ISIS will store their weapons, where they potentially will build things like drones, potentially even places where they will conduct training. And again, remember, the ISIS presence is not the same as it was a decade ago. It is much more disparate, is much more spread out. They don't have large locations that would be an obvious target point. But Central Command, the regional military command that owns Syria and owns that whole area for the United States military, they always have options for strikes like these. President Trump, in literally the hours after that attack last Saturday, came out and said that he planned to retaliate, and he planned to retaliate big.
But you can see how this could only or has the ability to get worse, right? Do you understand? So they strike, we retaliate, okay? They retaliate for the retaliation. Then we retaliate for their retaliation. I mean, you can see how this becomes ongoing, continuously putting men and women in harm's way for, again, what's the end goal? What's the purpose? So again, just talking about Pete Hegseth and his incompetency, this brings us to this story where, yes, the U.S. has once again seized another oil tanker near Venezuela. And again, just to kind of keep you updated on what this administration, specifically, undertaking military action is up to right now. Let's dive into this. And again, just the most recent report of the second tanker that has been taken by the United States. It's never been about the drugs, folks. It's never been about the drugs.
And off the coast of Venezuela, the U.S. has seized a second Venezuelan tanker. Willie James Inman is traveling with the president in West Palm Beach, Florida. Willie James, good evening.
Tom, good evening to you. The Trump administration released new video of that seizure the Venezuelan government calls theft.
On Saturday, U.S. officials confirmed the seizure of a Venezuelan oil tanker. The Coast Guard led the operation, which took place in international waters. It's the second U.S. seizure of a Venezuelan oil vessel this month. On Tuesday, the president announced a blockade of sanctioned oil ships, an effort to put pressure on President Nicolas Maduro's regime. The administration has accused his government of facilitating drug trafficking into the U.S.
It's the blockade. Not going to let anybody going through that shouldn't be going through.
Also this weekend, the U.S. military hit more than 70 targets in a retaliatory assault against ISIS in Syria.
I ordered
the president of peace. The president of peace. No new wars. We're going to stay out of the Middle East. We don't want anything undertaken in the Middle East. We want peace in the Middle East. And also, we're going to continuously strike targets in the Middle East. We're going to continuously talk about war with the Mexican cartels. We're definitely going to war with Venezuela at some point over oil or natural resources or minerals, whatever the fuck it's for. Definitely not for the drugs, I can tell you that much. But again, he wants you to believe still he's the president of fucking peace.
Massive strike on the terrorists that killed our 3 great patriots last week. 2 soldiers, 1 interpreter, all great people. And it was very successful.
In a statement, CENTCOM says Operation Hawkeye Strike targeted known ISIS infrastructure and weapon sites. Last week, officials say a lone ISIS gunman killed 2 soldiers and a civilian interpreter who were part of a joint operation with Syrian forces.
And again, as absolutely tragic as that is, as horrible as it is to see anybody, both men and women in uniform and people volunteering to be there for whatever reason, citizens, right? Innocent people. As horrible as it is to see, you can hear what he just said, a lone gunman. So what we're doing now is we're undertaking 70 plus strikes, which again is going to have the effect of, banding more people together, pissing off more of these people, making them want to conduct retaliatory strikes on the U.S. bases or U.S. servicemen and women, right? So instead of a lone gunman that undertook this now, maybe it's going to be more planned. Maybe it's going to be more coordinated. And again, what's that going to do? It's going to lead to the harm, the danger, the possible deaths of more U.S. men and women in uniform. That's just the facts of the matter. There's nothing else to be said about that, right? And just to kind of let you know what's been going on there as far as the Venezuelan strikes, the oil tankers, what's happening in Syria, make sure that we all stay up to date and up to speed on what this administration is actually undertaking as opposed to what they say they're undertaking. It's very important. But let's dive into some right-wing on right-wing violence. What do you say? Because we've been talking about this a lot. It's a huge aspect right now of what's taking place inside this Republican echo chamber, this Republican, podcast commentary field that we've now been talking about for several weeks. And again, it's allowing that opening that I believe we need to utilize. We need to exploit in order to get our messaging out there while they're focused on combating each other. And again, just a couple clips here from old Ben Shapiro at Turning Point. And you can see here's Ben Shapiro's full speech. He goes after Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, Steve Bannon, Alex Jones, and criticizes Megyn Kelly. You'll quickly realize none of those people are Democrats. None of those people are progressives. None of those people are liberals. And none of them are politicians on the left. Therefore, not doing what these people are most widely known for, what they're most effective at is lying about the left, combating leftist policies, that sort of thing. So you can see how they're distinctly focused on fighting with themselves, and we need to make sure that we continuously highlight that and utilize it for our political gain. All right, so here's just a couple minutes of, maybe not even a couple minutes, just maybe a minute or two of Ben Shapiro, and then we'll dive into Candace's reaction and response to what Ben Shapiro had to say. All right, again, love it. All fucking bravo to all you right wingers right now that are not focused on midterms, that are not focused on what the American people are angry about, or what they're complaining about, how their daily lives are being affected by this administration, but more so in what Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Tim Pool and Benny fucking Johnson and all these assholes, how their fighting is going on. I love it. Continuous. Good job, Ben. Way to bring it up. Here we go. This is Ben Shapiro at Turning Points using his platform that apparently Candace Owens says he paid a shitload of money to get there. A shitload of money to get there and get this message out. But again, what's happening right here? What is this? Why does it look like from the bottom half of this podium that he's like the devil? Doesn't he look like this is like the bottom half of the devil's body? And God forbid this is, I don't know. Why do they have a see-through podium? That's awkward. That's awkward. Ben's tail is visible through the podium. Okay, he's actually a dragon. All right, anyway, let's dive into it. Let's get into how he's making fun of his own and not combating, again, or talking about what's important to the American people.
Murder? To spew absolutely baseless.
Oh, hold on. Let me go to 720. That's where I have it. 720. My apologies. All right, let's dive into it right here.
Politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values. We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth. So, for example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk.
Now you guys can't take your eyes off it, can you? Now you guys can't take your eyes off Ben Shapiro's tail. Look at that! What is happening? Are those his legs? I'm so confused. It looks like he's half fucking dragon or like lizard or something. What is happening? Oh, geez. Blur out the tail.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash.
Bro, it's moving with him. It's moving with him. I would say it was like something it's moving with him. Look at him move as he's swaying in the podium, and then look at fucking his lizard legs and his lizard tail clearly visible through the podium move with him. Check it out.
Cover up over Charlie's murder.
With him.
To spew.
I thought it was going to be something behind, like in front. Oh, shit. It's moving with him. It moves with him.
Absolutely baseless trash, implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have...
I can't take my eyes off it. I can't take my eyes off it. It's moving with him like it was his body. What is happening?
A moral obligation to call that out by name. Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning.
they changed the camera angle. Somebody at TPUSA must have been like, well, that don't look right. Can we focus in just a little bit more so as not to show his lizard tail that somehow flopped out of his fucking pants?
And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice.
So again, this is Ben Shapiro, and sorry, I know I was just kind of off the rails a little bit, but that caught me off guard. It absolutely looks like Ben Shapiro has a lizard tail. Too funny. Too funny. But what he's doing here is he's using his time and the exorbitant amount of money he paid to speak at this event, apparently, according to Candace Owens, to attack other speakers at turning points, to attack Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. What he's not talking about is, the accomplishments or the so-called accomplishments of this administration. Like, again, what these people are built for, what this, Turning Points USA fucking, a corporation was built for, was to do the propaganda of the Republican Party, to do the bidding of Donald Trump. But again, this is what their time is being used on. This is how they're utilizing their billionaire dollars, their buku views that they get on social media. This is what they're focused on. And again, it's going to be a rude wake-up call. It's going to be a rude awakening for these people when they start to realize what Donald Trump's polling numbers look like right now, how angry the American people are at what this what the establishment and what this administration is now doing to them as far as cost of living, affordability, housing, homelessness, joblessness, that type of thing. It's going to be a rude fucking awakening going into midterms. I can tell you that much. But again, not to give them any pointers, continuously, please fight amongst yourselves. Continue.
The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly. Second, because we owe you the...
And again, just to remind everybody, this is the same Candace Owens that worked for the Daily Wire right alongside of Ben Shapiro. The one and only Candace Owens that while was working with Ben Shapiro was still spewing conspiracy theories, was friends with Kanye West as she still is. Ben Shapiro had no problems with any of that apparently until she turned on Israel, until she apparently started questioning to a certain extent the genocide that was taking place. And then that was too far for Ben Shapiro. But as he's fucking talking about her now, a lot of the things that he's bringing up, not pertaining to specifically Erica Kirk and Turning Points, happened under his fucking watch, happened while they were both under the Daily Wire umbrella, while they were co-hosts, while they were co-workers. So to try to remove himself from this culpability, from any engagement with Candace Owens in some of these instances and conspiratorial theories that she had is laughable, is fucking laughable.
Truth, we owe you the duty to speak out of principle, not personal feeling. It should not matter whether we despise someone or whether we love someone. The question is what they say and what they do, and whether those things are morally decent or not. On a political level,
do you think, just imagine talking about moral decency at a Turning Points convention? Think about talking about moral decency to Republicans. Moral decency to MAGA. Moral decency to people that admire Donald Trump. Again, doesn't make any fucking sense. One does not mix with the other. You got oil and you got water. The two do not coexist.
Do they foster freedom, justice, and prosperity? On a personal level, do they treat others as they would wish to be treated? Personal feeling is not a substitute for moral justice. Silence on the matter. Politics is not the sisterhood of the traveling pants.
And I just want to see if he calls out Tucker in the next minute or Steve Bannon. I know he goes on to, we don't have to listen to his whole speech though. And then we'll get into Candace Owens' response to this.
Politics is about principle, and if you are willing to sacrifice basic truth and simple principle in favor of emotional solidarity, you have betrayed your fundamental duty to the American people. First off, I should break the omerta here and just be a little bit clear. The notion that people in our industry are close friends, like we all take holiday breaks with each other and go to each other's kids' graduations and stuff, is generally untrue. Some people do that, most of us don't. We see each other at conferences and we talk on the phone and all the rest. We're business colleagues. But even if it were true that other public figures were our best friends, our very best, the kinds of questions that actually get at the truth. If we agree with the guest, that's fine, but we should.
Right. Well, anyway, you don't have to sit here and listen to sped up Ben Shapiro to understand what he's doing. And again, what he's doing is not talking about active and ongoing politics in the United States. What he's doing is talking about bullshit, fighting, conspiracy theories by Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, and the rest of these people that, again, engaged in their own infighting to such an extent that they're oblivious to what's happening around them and the reaction of Americans to the Trump administration. Right. So that's leaving them well in the back, like well behind, the race. They're lagging well behind right now in trying to, in what the American people are feeling. But let's dive into a little bit of Candace's response, which is, again, just as entertaining to see that they're going after each other this hard. And this is a specific response to Ben Shapiro's turning point little speech that he gave here. Nothing else. So, again, what's this have? 2 million views. So it's got 2.192 million views. I think her other response the other day has something like 5 or 6 million views. So again, we've talked about how many live and concurrent viewers she's getting and total views on these. And it is bonkers, ladies and gentlemen, bonkers. So again, let's dive into just a little bit of her response. And I think it's pretty fucking funny. It's only about 2 minutes of her response, and then we'll get into some of the other bullshit that we have to deal with. But I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. I'm Boston Brian. This is Republican on Republican infighting, Republican on Republican violence, the MAGA Civil War in real time. Let's go.
Done with it. I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on.
Woo! Woo! Ooh, I like it. Almost you could use that for Tim Pool too. So don't waste all your ammunition. Don't waste all your ammunition, Candace. Don't waste all your ammo because that's good. You could use that against Tim Pool too, and I hope you do. But fuck you, Ben Shapiro, and the midget horse you rode in on. She says definitely. I'm sure they're best friends. I'm sure this is just something they'll work out. This is just a little rift inside of the old MAGA cult. I'm sure it's going to be fine, right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sure it's not going to have any negative impacts on what they're trying to accomplish politically at all.
And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get
of the world, not just Republicans, not just people here at the Candace show, but on behalf of the world. I love it.
Applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud.
She's got the fucking book. She's got the book ready to be pulled up as a prop. Oh, she's going hard on Ben Shapiro here. I like it.
You know what Ben thinks of you because he doesn't just hate me. He hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean.
Candace Owens telling black people that Ben Shapiro hates them all, something we probably already knew from, considering what side of the aisle he's on and who he, votes for and shit like that. But again, Candace Owens going after another prominent political podcaster, prominent political figure on the right, talking about how he hates all black people.
When I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire under the pen name Hank Berrien.
Oh, shit. Exposing Daddy Shapiro now? Now we're exposing Daddy Shapiro. Oh, we're getting into family. This is getting good. This is getting good, ladies and gentlemen. I know there's probably not enough time left in the show for you to get out, make your popcorn, get set, get your fucking beer, get ready, sit down for this fucking comedy that we're about to watch, that we are witnessing right now. But this is getting good. I mean, she's now revealing that even Ben Shapiro's father has some pen name that he writes anonymously under for the Daily Wire. It's getting good. It's getting good.
As he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant? It's an open-ended question. Of course, what followed Ben Shapiro on stage is somebody who Charlie Kirk loved very much and who he fought for to the very end against the Jewish donors who were pressuring him, some of them because Ben Shapiro insisted that they do. Take a listen to what Tucker Carlson had to say when he hit the stage.
So again, this is Candace and Tucker against Ben Shapiro and the rest of the Turning Point USA acolytes. So again, the feud just keeps evolving and it keeps like accruing more members of the fight. Again, Tucker Carlson, I believe was, we didn't get to see it, but I believe he was directly called out, named by Ben Shapiro. And then he came on afterwards and addressed what Ben Shapiro had to say. And apparently this is a little bit of what he had to say.
The prediction that, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, to help, and really felt that was important. I still think, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my nouns, deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole Red Guard Cultural Revolution thing.
So again, he's directly mocking and referencing what Ben Shapiro was saying in his speech.
We so hated and feared on the left that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life. And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point. I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster.
And she goes on to talk about how Ben Shapiro wasn't initially invited and how he had to basically pay his way into speaking here. Let me see if she just references it here. If not, we can dive on past this. But just to show you what they're talking about, what they're speaking about, what they're engaged in. Typically at these turning points, it's to, lie about Democrats. It's to lie about what Democrats have done. It's to lie about what Democrats are saying. It's to lie about the accomplishments of the Trump administration. It's to lie about the accomplishments of the Republican Party. They're not doing any of that, right? I'm sure there was some of that going on, but as to the extent that it normally takes place to these events and how effective it is at propagandizing the audience into believing that bullshit, they're not focused on that. They're not doing or saying any of that. And again, that is when they're at their most effective. That is when they are most able to combat or at least sway the population, the minds of the population that watch these shows into believing things against the left, against Democrats. And again, that's why I continuously say this is our opportunity. This is our inroad, right? This is the open door that we need to take in order to fill the void in these social media spaces online where they normally get the clicks, and they are getting the clicks, but they're not. The clicks aren't for just 5 million views on a Candace Owens video talking about Erica Kirk, talking about the death of Charlie, talking about Turning Points or Ben Shapiro. Not talking about, again, anything going on the left or trying to propagandize the people about the accomplishments or lack of accomplishments of the Trump administration. See how, you see how they were in the past leading up to the midterms, leading up to the general election. And they're just so discombobulated right now as far as being on the same page rhetorically, messaging wise. It's just they're nowhere near the prominence that they once had, and again, the ability that they had to sway the minds of their base. They just don't have that ability anymore, which is why you've seen so many people flood to so many different aspects of the right, whether it's Candace Owens or whether it's Nick Fuentes and the America First side, or whether it's people supporting Tucker Carlson, or whether it's people against Ben Shapiro. You know, it's just they're all seemingly taking sides in this fight, whether or not they're pissed off at Trump for the Epstein files, for the handling, for his buddy nature with Benjamin Netanyahu, or, whatever it may be, whether or not they're upset with the government and how they're handling the murder of Charlie Kirk. So many different areas and aspects as to why they're leaving, or just being aggrieved, let's say, with their base, with their leaders, and now finding the voice to call them out where they wouldn't before. That's what's going on, and we need to fill that void. We need to fill that space as political commentators to hammer home, the Democratic politicians that we believe have the best interests of the American people, to hammer home the Democratic policies that have the best interests of the American people, that sort of thing. That how we can change the American people's lives, whoever that may be. That's what we need to do in this moment in time that the right is handing us. They're handing us this moment in time on a silver fucking platter, with the lack of accomplishments from the Trump administration, from all the bullshit that the Trump administration has pulled. They are now handing us all that political ammunition in opposition research on a silver platter and saying, here's the time afforded to you to tell your band, to tell your fans, to tell your base about what's been going on, and we're not even going to be here to combat you. We're going to be here talking about Ben Shapiro. We're going to be talking about Tucker Carlson and Turning Points and all this other bullshit. So you guys have free reign right now, free reign from all Democratic or leftist political podcasts to get this information out there, and that's what we need to do. So that's what I plan on doing, and I appreciate you guys for sticking with me as I do that, and realizing how important it is to continuously touch on this as a subject, as a topic, and point this out again. The political expedience that we have right now to win going into midterms, and to pick the correct candidates, and to highlight the correct candidates, and to highlight the correct policies, or to criticize and critique again Democratic politicians that aren't doing the right thing. Again, when somebody dies, you perform an autopsy, and if you don't know why they died, you got to perform an autopsy to see what happened, to make sure that you can prevent that in families going on in the future, or if it's something hereditary, you got to deal with that. If in a sporting event you guys get your ass kicked in a fucking game, what do? Even if you win, you go and you take a look at the film. You say, hey, where can I improve on this play? Where can I improve on this drive? Where could I have repositioned myself on this play on the ice to make a better play? We won, but where can we make it so we're even more dominant in the future? Same thing with elections. How did we fuck up in that election? Where did we falter? Where did we go wrong in our rhetoric? Where did we go wrong in our messaging? We take a look at that. We focus upon that. We fix it. We find the people that were fucking up. We criticize them. We critique them. We either replace them or find them, pressure them into changing their stance. And then we move on. But again, that's how we kind of fix, the past. That's how we focus on how we could win in the future as well. But let's dive on to just a couple parts of this. We should have just enough time to get this in, because it's been a while since we've done a full Trump speech, start to finish. We used to do that continuously. I like to make sure that nobody could say I was taking it out of context. Nobody could say that, okay, he's only talking about these specific parts of the speech, and the rest of the speech must have been coherent, and it must have been, it must have been not as crazy as what he's showing. But that is, again, I don't think anybody's thinking that anymore. I don't think anybody's worried about, okay, if we don't show the whole speech, people are going to think it was coherent and think it was like based in reality, when everybody right now, even Republicans, know that anything Donald Trump says is, at risk of being loopy, like is at risk of being from fucking Mars at this point. The guy is just so detached from reality, so absolutely dementia riddled at this point, that it is an absolute embarrassment to have him in front of the camera every single time. So just a few points in this speech that I want to point out, to kind of highlight to you just how crazy this man is right now, and just how incompetent and unable he is to hold the position he does. This is a few good points. So let me go into here. There's one at 34 minutes. So about, like I said, 3 or 4 different little parts of this, and then I'll get you guys out of here. We don't have to dive into too much of this, and we're definitely not doing it start to finish. But check out these different aspects in this speech that clearly point out how lost it, like how absolutely removed from reality this guy is. So let's check out just a few of these moments, and I'll get you guys out of here. I do appreciate you.
Look at that chart. NBC and CBS.
This is Donald Trump in Rocky Mount, North Carolina on the 19th. So just a couple days ago, giving another ridiculous speech about how the American people are doing so well. And if you actually don't believe you're doing well and you're actually struggling right now, it's your fault. You're the liar. And you've fallen for some Democrat hoax about affordability, apparently.
ABC fake news. They're fake news. Oops, that camera just went off. Sorry about that. Every time I mention that camera, you see the red light back there, Bing, you see it go off. ABC fake.
There's Bing number one. There's Bing number one. So he's basically relegated to like fucking noises and like hand motions, because that's like a lot of the time he can't get the word out or he can't focus on it when it's on the teleprompter. He knows he'll have to skip that, or when he flubs up a sentence, he has to say it like 3 more times so that people forget where he fucked up, or they can use the clip where he did get it right. And, it's becoming more prominent in every speech now because of the sundowning, because of the times in which he's speaking. I don't know, the drugs, the alleged drugs that they've got him hopped up on at certain periods of time here.
I think ABC's the worst. Believe it or not, George Slopadopoulos, he paid me about $16 million. You have George Slopadopoulos. I heard Chris Christie lost his job. They fired Chris Christie, and they have a great young woman.
But this is where he goes after Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'll just fast forward just a couple seconds here.
To eat all the time. No, they fired him. He was bad news. But I'd say ABC is the worst of the networks. I would then say NBC is horrible. I mean, just horrible. They had this guy on, this fake guy, the fake senator. I call him the fake senator from a place called Georgia, right? And he was talking about all the, things. He says he's a church leader.
Talk about fucking low energy Jeb. And as we're talking right now, he's literally relaying a story in which he doesn't know the name of the person he's speaking about. Right. So he makes it seem like he intentionally forgets or doesn't want to bring up the person's name. But this is his tactic. This is his ploy. When he can't remember somebody's name, he tries to make it look like or sound like they're not important enough for him to remember their name, which kind of he thinks allows him to get himself off the hook for, again, not fucking knowing who he's talking about.
It's funny, if you go in as a church leader, they talk about church and state, right? He's allowed to talk about, he said, I'm going back to my church.
He just said chalk instead of talk. I mean, these little things that we've continuously picked up on over Donald Trump's political career or time speaking in the spotlight here as president are becoming like so much more frequent and so much more easily picked up on. That, I mean, it's just, there's no denying it anymore. And I think people have been talking about the saying, has he lost his fastball? I think Mike Johnson brought that up. I think not only has he lost his fastball, he's lost the inability just to get to the mound at this point. Like his ass can't even get off the steps in the dugout at this point. Never mind get on the fucking mound and throw a pitch. And baseball, you can talk about baseball. You can talk about baseball all he wants. Hold on. We got something for that, I think. Hold on. Yeah, where is it?
When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular.
You could say that in really particular, just like you could say Donald Trump has absolutely lost his fastball.
And I'm going to pray this morning. I'm going to talk about all these issues. If a Republican said that they start screaming church and state, they don't scream. But NBC,
he doesn't know what he's referencing. He just knows the two words church and state. He doesn't know that it's a separation of church and state. He definitely doesn't know that that's part of the fucking Constitution of this country. Like he just doesn't, he knows the words. He just doesn't know what they reference and what they mean. And he just knows that saying it like to people that he believes are like church going folk might give him like a boost. That's all he knows.
Bad. And CBS, I mean, I love the new owners of CBS. Something happens to them though. 60 Minutes has treated me worse under the new ownership than they just keep treating me. They just keep hitting me. It's crazy.
Mr. Alpha. Mr. Alpha Man. They just keep beating me and hurting me, and they go after me, and they say mean things to me. Oh, my God. But also, I'm the strongest, most alpha man on the planet, and I can take it. But, tell them to stop talking mean about me.
Marjorie Trader Brown, I call her.
Marjorie Trader Brown. Good one. That's a good one. How long did you spend on that one? Jesus.
Because green turns to brown under stress. So.
Wait, what? Green turns to brown under stress. You mean grass? Is he trying to do that whole like grass relationship? I don't know how you can stress out green. I mean, you can stress grass out, and if grass is stressed out, it'll turn brown, if that's what you're trying to get across. But you don't stress out green and it turns brown. Green's a color, not something more specific that we could talk about. Oh, wow. But he goes on again. All you got to do is step out of line on one thing, and that one thing is the Epstein files, and this is how he treats you now. Even if you were the Jewish space laser lady, even if you were the biggest fucking Trump fanatic you could possibly think of, the biggest QAnon supporter, came in as racist and bigoted as you could possibly be to actually get the support of Donald Trump and continue that support for Donald Trump. But it doesn't matter. You go against him just once, and if that situation or that topic is big enough in his mind, then this is what you turn into. This is how quickly you can be outed from the MAGA cult, even if you're Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Caller. Because green turns to brown under stress. So I call it Trader Brown.
That's grass you're thinking of, you absolute fucking tit.
Brown, which I don't like doing because 2 words is too much. 2 out of 3. We're changing to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm going Marjorie Trader Brown, so I have to trade. And a lot of people don't understand. 2 words is too much.
A lot of people just don't understand, and I'm changing to 2 out of the 3 words. So it used to be Marjorie Taylor Greene, but if you look, I'm changing the 2 to 3 words, and it's now Marjorie Trader Brown. So we changed the 2 words, but I don't like changing the 2 words, because if you change 2 words, it's kind of getting confusing to the MAGA people. But we changed the 2 words, and it's now, I used to say Marjorie Taylor Greene, but now it's 2 words different. I say Marjorie Trader Brown. Get it? Yeah, no, he's perfect. He's good. I'm sure he's done all the MRIs and he knows exactly what a giraffe is. It sounds like it. I could tell.
To change. I actually like Marjorie Taylor Brown better, but everyone says Marjorie Trader Greene is good, but they're all good. But what the hell happened to her?
What the fuck happened to you is the question. What are you talking about, bro? People starving to death, can't get work, can't find a fucking home, can't afford shit. And you're up here talking about Marjorie Taylor Brown and green, that when it gets stresses out, turns brown. And you're asking what's wrong with other people? Oh boy, okay.
She must have been a stone cold liberal. She's on CNN now all the time.
Stone cold, that stone cold liberal, Marjorie Taylor Greene, stone cold liberal supporting January 6th, stone cold liberal, again, coming in and saying that Muslims don't belong anywhere in government, saying that you had to have your hand placed on the Bible and not, you couldn't be, it couldn't be on the Quran, is what she came in saying, making fun of black people, talking about how if she was black, she would want the Confederate statues in and around the southern United States so that the black people could walk up to these Confederate statues and say, hey, look at how far we've come in this country. Direct words from Marjorie Taylor Greene. The Jewish space laser lady, again, in the QAnon thing. I mean, the list goes on. But that lady to Donald Trump now is a stone cold liberal. and you want to tell me he's not delusional? You want to tell me he's not lost touch with all fucking aspects of reality?
Believe it? And it was only because I couldn't call her back. I have 218, 19 to change.
All right, so we'll go on. There's one here at 43 minutes as well, a little clip here where he talks about his health that I wanted to dive into just real quick. Again, if this doesn't show you exactly how mentally inferior he is at this moment in time, I'm not sure what will.
Look at that. Oh, boy. Look at how much you made with me and lost with that sleepy guy. But everything now is falling, and the only
sleepy guy. Again, the balls, right? You either have fucking brass gorilla balls, or you're just so detached from reality that you don't even recognize that the whole world is laughing how you've been falling asleep at your fucking cabinet meetings and other events, to a point where it looks like you just don't even give a fuck anymore if the cameras do see you snoozing in broad daylight, right? And then you have, again, you're either so fucking demented or you have the biggest cojones on the face of the planet, right? And we know, since of all the things that we've heard from either lawsuits or books from Donald Trump about his tiny hands, we know the whole huge brass gorilla ball thing isn't really an option, right? Because what was there? It was
Referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Yep, right. Okay. And then there was another one, I do believe. What was this one? No, that's his brain. There was another one. Oh, here you go.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
Right. So we know we know it's not the big balls option. So clearly it's just the fact that he's already forgotten that he's fallen asleep in front of the American people and the world several times now. So again, that whole Sleepy Joe thing, not so fucking relevant anymore. You know, not the gotcha you think it was or think it is.
Only things that are going up are your salaries, the stock market, and your 401ks. They're going
How's
up.
your salaries doing, guys? By the way, how's your salaries? Donald Trump thinks you're making more now than you ever have. Is that something reflected in the chat? Are people right now just seeing the economic boom and recovery that you were promised by this administration, or are we seeing the exact opposite in terms of affordability, in terms of cost of living, right? We were just looking at some videos the other day talking about how the cost of, I think it might even have been a TikTok video talking about how the prices in Home Alone have changed since Home Alone came out. And I know, kind of weird as far as video is concerned, but it gave good insights as to what things were costing in 1990 and what things are costing now. So I think they were talking about, just as, for an example, as reference, the suite that Kevin McAllister got in the Plaza Hotel. At the time, I believe it would have cost you $1,100 at the time of the making of the movie. Now, that same hotel room would cost you somewhere in the range of $8,000 to stay in that same hotel room, right? Another reference, the big bowl of ice cream. Again, I know this is abstract, but just to kind of give you a reference as to how the cost of living has increased for Americans over these years. The bowl of ice cream, the huge giant bowl of ice cream, or even the bill for the room service was about $960 something. I think the ice cream, the giant bowl of ice cream in itself was about $18 to $20. That same ice cream would now be $600, and that same room service bill would be about fucking $7,000. Right? So again, just to show you how things have increased in cost over these years. And while Donald Trump's trying to tell you that everything has never been more affordable, you've never been doing better, while not recognizing that still a vast majority, a substantial portion of this country has absolutely no dealings with the stock market whatsoever. But that doesn't pertain to him and his billionaire buddies and the people that are actually profiting from the corruption and actually putting vast amounts of wealth in their pockets due to crypto, due to fucking foreign dealings, whatever it may be. That's who's doing well, not the American people.
Up.
Up, Adam. Up, buddy.
Do you remember when I first won in 2024, and I was at my first conference? I'm 2 days in. We're recovering from all the hoopla. 2 days in. In fact, I took a day off. They said, something's wrong with the president. I said, I just got here. There's nothing wrong with me. Something's wrong. You took a day off. What's wrong with the president, right? Every time. Do you remember when I had 28 news conferences in a row over 28 days? Sometimes I gave 2 or 3 in one day. And then I took my beautiful Kai, my beautiful granddaughter is a very good golfer. I took her to play golf one morning. And I was in the office very quickly. Something's wrong with the president. Do you remember the rumor was that I had passed away? Do you remember that? I won 28 days in a row. I took the kid to play golf. And we play very fast. She's good at, I'm a very good golfer. And we played very fast.
He can't even give her credit. He started to say that she was a good golfer and had to stop himself to say that he was the good golfer. It's just fucking unbelievable how selfish and unable to give anybody else credit for anything. Like, he just recognized he was about to give his granddaughter credit for something and stopped mid-sentence and replaced his granddaughter with himself. That's what he just did.
Yes, we play in 2 hours. We're in, and I said, baby, I got to get out of here. I'm sorry, honey. Enjoy your day.
I'm sorry. You call your granddaughter baby? And what does she call you back?
We're in, and I said, baby, I got to get out of here. I'm sorry. Hey, honey,
And she
enjoy
called
your
him
day.
honey back. Yeah, that's not creepy at all. That's not awkward or strange or probably in line with somebody that's related to the Epstein files at all. You call your fucking, how old is she? What is she, 18? I'm not even sure. What is she, 18, 19 years old? He calls her baby. And I'm sorry, it's so fucking hard for me to even process this. What do you call her?
We're dinner. I mean, I said, baby, I got to get out of here. I'm sorry,
She
honey.
calls him
Enjoy-
honey, and Donald Trump calls his granddaughter baby. All right, I'll stay away from that one.
Your day, go hit balls or something. I got to get
Jesus, take it easy.
out of here. I got to go to work. And I got a call, friend of mine. Oh, you're okay? And I said, yeah, what's wrong? I said, I'll be back in the Oval Office in 30 minutes.
Is this story? What are we talking about? Jesus Christ.
Oh, I said, what's wrong with this guy? Then I got another call. Oh, you're okay.
Well,
They
I mean,
said-
that's fucking up to interpretation, I would say. What your definition of okay is would probably, vary widely, I'd say.
That I had passed away. Do you remember that? First day in 28 days, these people are sick. That's why I've taken more physicals, because I think you have an obligation to,
Here's where he goes into the cognitive exams and his physicals. Check this out, because that's definitely something always you'd need to bring up. If you were actually healthy, right, and you actually had no problems, one would absolutely continuously bring up the cognitive exams, that Montreal cognitive exam, to make sure that you didn't have dementia, not an IQ test, ladies and gentlemen, not an IQ test, not say, hey, let me take this to see where I lie on the fucking whole scale of people with IQs. No, just to make sure that you didn't have dementia. He's going to brag about it.
Report. And I hate when they put out false reports. So they put out a report that Donald Trump. So I took a lot of physicals. And I did something no other president's ever done. I took cognitive tests, because I know that, and by the way, not easy.
He's still doing this. He's still doing this. He's still saying this like that test isn't available. Like people haven't already looked at the test and know what the questions are. Like we haven't seen, okay, point to the fucking hippo. Which one is the giraffe? Is this a whale? Man, woman, TV, person, camera. I mean, what the? He's still on this.
To those last questions, those last 10, 15 questions, nobody on that stand could answer probably any of them. And I got them. I aced them. And no other president's taken a cognitive. Could you imagine Sleepy Joe taking a cognitive test? I don't think.
So I don't know if they show the whole thing here, but this is just a quick example of that. So the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, the MOCA, is a quick 10-minute screening for mild cognitive impairment, MCI, and early dementia, assessing attention, memory, language, visuospatial skills, and executive functions with a 30-point scale. Okay, score of 26 plus is usually normal. It involves tasks like drawing a cube, recalling words, naming animals, helping clinicians identify cognitive decline that might precede dementia, though it requires interpretation alongside other clinical info. And again, this is tell me what time it is, I'm assuming. Here, let me put this on the screen. This looks like, unprompted copy Pentagons, Montreal Cognitive Assessment. I don't see if they actually have the camera there, but it looks like, hey, draw a clock with this time on it. Or what time does this clock say, right? Is the introduction, mini mental status examination, Montreal Cognitive Test here, which says, please draw a line. Here's an example. Please draw a line going from a number to a letter in ascending order. Please begin here. Point to 1, draw a line from 1, then to A, then to 2, and so on. Tough, right? Oh, shit. I don't know how the fuck he managed to do that one. Jesus Christ. And he's bragging. This is what the president is bragging about. And the people behind him are like, oh, bravo. Way to identify the hippo, Mr. President. You should definitely be conducting military strikes and have the codes to the fucking nuclear weapons that we have. That's woohoo. You got the giraffe, ladies and gentlemen.
The first question is like, what is this? And they show a lion, a giraffe, a fish, and a hippopotamus, right? And they say, which is the giraffe? So that's the only question. But what happens is it then gets harder. I don't think Joe would have gotten the first question right.
Here's another one. Here's another one as it gets harder. This is what it says at the very bottom, right? So this says, and I'll blow it up just a little bit in case you guys can't see it. So it says, okay, number 11, orientation. So probably at the bottom of the test, I'm assuming. The examiner gives the following instructions. So this is the instructions that Donald Trump had to follow. And this is the one he said really nobody got, and only Donald Trump could finish this one out. Tell me the date today. I shit you not. I shit you not. Tell me the date today, it says. If the subject does not give a complete answer, then prompt accordingly by saying, quote, tell me the year, month, exact date, and day of the week. Then say, now tell me the name of this place and what city it's in. Give 1 point for each item correctly answered. The subject must tell the exact date and exact place, name of the hospital, clinic, or office they're at. No points are allocated if the subject makes an error of 1 day for the day or year, right? Delayed recall. The examiner gives the following instruction, which would have been given to Donald Trump. Quote, I read some words to you earlier, which I asked you to remember. This is the place, woman, TV, person, camera thing. This is what he's talking about. And this is at the end of the test. It seems like, from what it's referencing here. Another one is abstraction, which gives him the instructions. Tell me how an orange and a banana are alike. Oh, I'm reading it. I'm just as directly off of this. I mean, I'm talking about the exact test. We're not making this up. This isn't bullshit. This is what Donald Trump is bragging to the world about passing. I have to reiterate.
He would say hippo. I want the hippo. But anyway, I've taken now 3 cognitive tests. I've aced every single one of them.
You don't ace them. You don't ace them. Acing them is basically somebody saying, okay, you don't have dementia. That's about as aced as you can get, right? You're okay for now is basically what they say. But again, let's go on to, there was another pod here, 53 minutes in. Let's go to 53, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. I think there's one more, and then we'll get out of here.
We need tremendous amounts of electricity for AI and for all these plants. Electricity prices will fall very dramatically when these plants are open. To protect North Carolina work.
Sorry.
Like I used to say beautiful, now I don't care. Since politics, I never mention looks anymore. The most beautiful woman can walk right across. I don't even look at her anymore.
I'm sorry. Was that why you were referencing Caroline's lips? Is that why you were referencing Caroline Levitt's beautiful lips? Which, again, it's so funny to me that Donald Trump was referencing Caroline's beautiful lips. And then we got the photos we got from the Vanity Fair, which showed everything but beautiful lips. Sorry. I'm sorry. But it's ironical to me that he would be complimenting her lips. And then Vanity Fair was like, all right, let's show the fucking lips. So sorry.
Because in politics, that's the sign of death. We don't look. But I do look at the arm of a chair, and I'd say to your artists, they were artists. They were artisans.
Sorry, did he just say he looks at the arm of a chair?
Looks anymore. The most beautiful woman can walk right across. I don't even look at her anymore. Because in politics, that's the sign of death. We don't look. But I do look at the arm of a chair, and I say,
I do look at the arm of a chair. And again, just to put context, I guess, in this is he's talking about how he used to go down to North Carolina to purchase furniture, I guess, is the context in this.
I'd say to your artists, they were artists. They were artisans, I'd say, no, can you give a different curve? Can you do a little more carving at the end? They would right in front of me, bing, 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 bing. They were like genius.
Jesus Christ. He's back with the bing, 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 bing. Bing, bing, bong, bong, bong. Do I have one of those? I think I might have that sound somewhere. Do I have that sound? No, that's not it. Fuck. I thought I had the bing, bing, bong, bong somewhere. I know I do. I just might not have it. I just might not have it on the list right now. I'm gonna have to get those back. If he's gonna if he's bringing back the bang bang bong bong bongs, I gotta get them in there. I need them ready. Either that or just.
Or go fuck yourself.
Bing bing bong bong bong. Oh shit.
You lost the business. It went to China and other places, but mostly to China, because they never put tariffs on, just like they didn't put them on chips.
All right, and there's one more part here we'll go to that I think people were referencing probably more than other aspects in this speech, and we'll end on this one. But apparently, apparently Melania's underwear is this big. Apparently Melania's wearing granny panties.
Pounds more, and they've never done it before. Or the boxers that are getting decimated. You saw the Olympics where they had two people that...
What the fuck was that? Where you had to what was that?
You saw the Olympics where they had two people that...
They had to did he just have a stroke mid-sentence? You seen the two boxers where they had the what the fuck was that?
They converted from men to women. They did a conversion.
And again, he's wrong. He's trying to reference the Olympic boxer, which he wasn't even right to begin with about. And again, just further going on to demonize and degrade an individual, which he doesn't have the facts about, which he isn't correct about, and using that to his political advantage in this, trying to bash, transgender people in this country.
And the one young woman from Italy, a championship boxer, she got hit by a left jab. A left jab, for those that don't do it's just like a defensive punch. She got hit and she walked to her corner. She said, "I've never been hit like that. I quit."
Is that how Donald Trump punches? Let's check out a Donald Trump punch. Here's a Donald Trump jab, ladies and gentlemen.
Boxer. She got hit by a left jab. A left jab, for those that don't do it's just like a defensive punch. She got hit and she walked to her corner. She said, "I've never been hit like that. I quit." Then they said, no, go out. You can do it. And then he gave her another left jab. That was it. She said, "Nope, I can't do it." It's so demeaning to women. And they don't stop. I saw the other day on one of the shows, I think Meet the Fake Press. I'm pretty sure it was that stupid show. And they had a congressman that you all know, a Democrat, saying, no, we have to allow men to play in women's sports. Where do these people come from? Or how about open borders? They're fighting for open borders. If I didn't get elected, our country would be ruined. We would have not had a country. I'm telling you, I'm not bragging about myself. I'm saying we would not have had a country.
Yeah, no, it would have been totally removed, wiped off the face of the planet, because it hasn't existed for quite some time before Donald Trump was ever around. And God forbid Donald Trump wasn't around to save this planet. But listen to how I think he goes into here about talking about Melania's undies. Check it out.
And now we have the greatest country in the world. I'm telling you, hottest. We're the hottest. We're restoring the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley in beautiful Alaska. That they took the name off and they named it something else. And I renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Right?
Where's he go into it? Here?
For my whole life, I don't know. I guess I didn't do it in my first term because I was the hunted. I had bigger problems. I had these animals trying to attack me at Mar-a-Lago. They went into my wife's closet. And I'll say this. Number one is very bad, but it sounds a little strange. They looked at her drawers. You have draw.
You see how he just held him up? I don't know if Melania is going to quite take that the way he thinks he's going to take that. The guy just held up a size fucking 97 pair of underwear trying to claim that it was the size of Melania's, A, and then B, he's actually talking about his wife's panties here at a presidential speech, again, where affordability and the, people living their daily lives is the biggest fucking problem that we now face. And he's talking about Melania's panties.
And then you have draw. They looked at both. And she's a very meticulous person, like these people. It's just like she'd fit into your group very well. She'd be very happy with her. But everything is perfect. Her undergarments, sometimes referred to as panties, are folded, perfect, wrapped. They're like so perfect. I say, that's beautiful. It's the part of the world she came from. Everything was perfect, no problem. Fold, fold, fold. I think that she steams them, make sure.
Because you guys, we all know that Eastern European women were known for well-folded panties. If there's one thing that Donald Trump would know about Eastern European women is how well they fold their panties. Right? Because he's had more experience with Eastern European women than probably most, being friends with Jeffrey Epstein for so long and knowing his exploitation of Eastern European women, especially underage Eastern European girls. Then, yeah, one would probably, that would lend credence to how Donald Trump knows about how Melania and Eastern European women fold their panties, but not why he's bringing this up at a presidential speech.
Just that we came home. I wasn't there when the raid took place. A raid of a popular president, a former president.
Who broke the fucking law.
She opened the drawers and it was not that way. They were a mess.
And that was the most egregious thing that happened during that raid was Melania's panties weren't folded correctly, apparently. That's the biggest grievance from Donald Trump in that whole aspect on that topic. But what an absolute tit. Guys, it doesn't take much to see and to listen to and to understand clearly that this guy has lost it. He is unfit to serve, was unfit to serve in his first administration, and now is just, it's beyond the pale. It's beyond the aspect in which we say, now it's just becoming dangerous, right? Now there's nothing to it besides danger that we are now exposed to, whether that's, again, cost of living, what's taking place in the different wars and threats we now face outside of the United States, his handling and cuddling up to, again, dictators, authoritarians, genocidal madmen, and people wanted on the international stage like Benjamin Netanyahu, Vladimir Putin, while also putting more pressure on our on our European allies and more specifically our Ukrainian allies. So again, lots to look at here as we continuously talk about the ongoing cover-up from these files from the DOJ, something that we cannot let slip through the cracks. We definitely need to continue to press on our politicians to make the right moves, to put the right pressure on the DOJ, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Donald Trump, while also continuously speaking about these ongoing attacks and retaliations that Donald Trump is engaging on, the U.S. seizure of another Venezuelan oil tanker, As you can see here on the screen, you can see the different strikes. They've released a video. Now it says U.S. seizing a second oil tanker, and then the Ben Shapiro ongoing MAGA on MAGA Republican violence that we've been seeing. Again, them calling themselves out. A lot that we need to continuously focus on, and I do appreciate you guys for joining me here at Blunt Politics to get the updates, to get the news, to get the information, to get a few laughs, whatever it may be, to kill some time in the day. Thank you to the best chat on earth. Thank you to by far the best chat on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook. I can't thank you guys enough for your support. I can't thank you guys enough for your continuing financial support of the channel as well. So whether it be through Venmo, signing up just underneath me for a YouTube membership, patreon.com/Boston Brian, 3 different tiers on Patreon. You fit the one that fits well into your financial capabilities, and it's a great way to join the backbone of this community to make sure that we stay on the air. And I can't thank you enough. I really can't. And that goes for the mods as well. Rocks, Tiff, Tanya, Loquera, Adam, Mark, all of you guys are just absolutely fantastic. Jen, thank you so much for everything that you do for not only me, but for the chat as well. So thank you very much. Let's get into thanking some people. I do need where's my cell phone? Let me get into my Venmos here so I can make sure I'm thanking everybody who may have sent a Venmo over in the last show or two, because I like to, at the end of every show, in case you're just joining us, make sure that I highlight and show my appreciation to people that are making this show possible. I know a lot of shows that you guys watch, just they you send in super chats continuously and they don't recognize them. They don't highlight them. A lot of time they don't appreciate them. And, that sucks as a viewer. That sucks for you to come out of pocket for whatever amount of money it is to show your appreciation to the channel, and to have that guy or woman or whoever it may be not read that chat or not engage with you is something, as a chatter myself, really aggravates me, and I never want to do that to you guys, which is why I don't hide anything behind a paywall. I don't sell you anything in terms of ads. I have again, no financial backers of this show, while I'm still asking for financial support from the community. That's just not the way we play fucking games around here. We play ball the right way, and that is totally 100% left up to the viewers of this program and telling me how I can change, be better, and whether or not you like or dislike what's going on. So thank you for your support. Thank you to, let's get into the transactions here. Thank you to Suzanne on Venmo. Thank you very, very much. She says, laughed so much today. Thank you. Thank you for the 10. I really do appreciate that. Going down the list, Suzanne, thank you, moms, very, very much for your generous donation here on Venmo. She says, happy Christmas. Love you all and wish you the best in the coming year. Right back at you, moms. Right back at you from not only me and Mel, but everybody here in the Blunt Politics community. And that goes for everybody. I hope you guys continuously hear me wish you guys a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. I hope you guys are having the most fantastic holiday season because you guys deserve it. You really do. So, Suzanne, thank you so much. Yakov, thank you so much. Teresa, thank you so much. Ricky, thank you so much. Claudia, Jim, you guys have all been fantastic, and I can't thank you enough. Jim says, Merry Christmas to you, Mel, Logan, and all your family. Thank you for bringing me together, a second family for me. And that's exactly what we hope to do with this community, is just give you guys an outlet, a resource, some people to communicate with, to confide in, so to have people support you in a time of need. That's why I love the community that we've built. I love the mods that have helped build that community, and the people involved in that community. I couldn't be more proud of you guys. So Claudia, thank you as well. She says, Merry Christmas, Brian and family. Right back at you, Claudia. Who else is on here? Ricky says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, Brian, Mel, and all of the awesome mods and all of the amazing Lobster family. Here's to a great new year. Thank you so much. That is very kind of you, Ricky. Very much appreciate that. Teresa goes on to say as well, Merry Christmas. Love all that you do. Thank you, Teresa. That is very kind of you. And again, without you guys, that's why I continuously show my appreciation for you, because again, I'm talking into the void. I'm sitting here looking at a bright light and a camera that means nothing if it weren't for you guys. If you guys, and especially you guys supporting other channels, other independent creators, other progressive channels, whatever it is that you guys support, you guys do a fantastic job of continuously propping up these different creators, and I am just blessed and honored to be any part, even a small part of that community. So thank you for giving me the opportunity and the chance to provide you with news or information or insights or anything like that. It means a lot, and I am honored and again so appreciative of the opportunity. So thank you to everybody. Michelle, oh my God, thank you, Michelle. Michelle just sent one in. It says, your show is great. Thank you. No, thank you, Michelle. Thank you to everybody again. Yakov, thank you so much. Let me see here. Yakov says, money from Yakov. Thank you so much, brother. And again, let me see if I missed Suzanne. Suzanne says laugh so much today. So I just want to make sure I read out and continuously highlight all of the Venmos that you guys sent in, because it goes a long, long way. It really does. So let's get into thanking some people here on the YouTubes, and then I'll get you guys out of here so you can support some other great independent creators, or support your teams, or hang with your friends and family, or get your shopping done. So Boston Mary, to start it off, thank you so much. And I have a hair somewhere in my eye. I apologize. I probably look like a crackhead scratching at my face, but it's really annoying. But thank you so much, Boston Mary 9319, for the $2 super sticker. Really means a lot. And again, all I ask for is a buck or two from people. Anything above and beyond that is 100% solely up to you guys. A buck or two goes a long way in helping support this channel. And I don't expect anything more. So thank you very much, Boston Mary. I appreciate that. Thank you, Wes. Brother, the longest night is over. Lengthening days begun. Congratulations on being a member here for 20 months. Congratulations on behaving today so you could remain in the chat, I hope. But thank you, Wes. Always making things colorful, always making things interesting. But thank you so much for the 20 months of support and behaving yourself. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Jess and Danny. Love you all. Merry Christmas. That goes from everybody here at Blunt Politics right back to you and yours, your loved ones, your friends, your family, your pets, all of it. We love you guys so much. We thank you so much for your contributions, for your support of this channel. So from Mel, Logan, and everybody here at Blunt Politics, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody over there, to the Nickel sisters. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Colleen, as well, for the really generous $20 super sticker here. I appreciate that very, very much. And like I've been saying, I hope you have a fantastic holiday season filled with as much joy and love as you could possibly have. And that goes for every single person out there, whether you're left, right, rich, poor, happy, sad. And we all need to make sure that we continuously remember that holidays can be some of the most difficult times for some people as well. Some people that have lost loved ones, that have been removed from their family, or have had some extenuating circumstances happen. So please, let's remember the people that may not have as much, may not have the support system as well. So please remember to reach out to those people as well during this holiday season, which again, sometimes it's as difficult, as hurtful, and as emotional as it is rewarding for other families and people that have the support system. So let's not forget, a lot of people in today's day and age don't have that support system, and let's make sure we remember to reach out to them and let them know that they have a support system, as important as that is. So I appreciate you, Colleen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Carl, as well. Happy Christmas and Merry New Year. Thank you for being here for 21 months. OG Carl, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for everything that you do. Colleen, again, for the 5 gifted memberships. Really appreciate that. Happy holidays to you, Colleen. Thank you so much. That goes for Kathleen as well. Congratulations on being here for 17 months as a member. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. And I second that to everybody as well. Slacks. What's up, Slacks? Happy holidays, brother. Merry Christmas. He says, Slava Ukraini. Love to you, Mel, Dungaree Dog, Logan. Love to all my fellow Bryantologists, and thank you in advance for all of your kind greetings. Wishing everybody a blessed Hanukkah and Christmas. And thank you, Slacks. Right back to you. Really do appreciate your contributions. Really do appreciate your support and your loyalty to the show. And can't thank you enough for being here. Really can't. Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to have all of you guys involved in this community, and I wouldn't trade any one of you for the world. I really wouldn't. So thank you, Mark, as well. I believe Trump has nothing to do with the Epstein files at Boston. Brian has nothing to do with the Red Sox, and I have nothing to do with sarcastic super stickers. Well, I follow that one. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 10, Mark. I appreciate the sarcasm. Goes a long way to help and support this community. So thank you, brother, and Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you and your loved ones as well. And that goes for Ricky. Thank you so much for being here for 20 months. Happy holidays. I hope everyone has a good holiday. Reach out and check in with those having a difficult time and let them know that they are enough. Well, thank you so much for reiterating exactly what I was just talking about. Great timing on that one, Ricky, because again, not everybody is as joyous around the holiday seasons or has as much to be joyful for around the holiday seasons. And we need to make sure that we're respecting those people as well and reaching out to those people as well and making sure that we give a lending hand, a helping hand, and, a shoulder to cry on, somebody to talk to, whatever it may be, just assistance. And it goes a long way. I'm sure it will go a long way to the people in this position to know that they have friends, family members, loved ones, strangers even, that reach out and make sure that they're doing okay. So Ricky, thank you so much for that reiteration. Oh, and thank you so much for the 10 gifted right after. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Ricky. I appreciate that. Make sure we're reaching out to every single person, gifting, sending a donation, and whatever it may be to this chat, to this community. Please make sure we thank them and show our appreciation for these people because it is very kind and generous to come out of pocket to help others in the community just like that. So thank you, Ricky. Thanks for pointing out that visual. Can't unsee it. Sorry. If that was Ben Shapiro, I do apologize. I didn't have that planned, nor did I notice that ahead of time. It was just something I noticed in the moment, and I do apologize for it. That's my bad. Ben Shapiro, listen, tell. Oh, geez, I'm not going to be able to unsee that now. I almost forgot about that for a second, but you guys wouldn't let me let it die. Oh, no. That's going to clip. Somebody clip that shit. Somebody clip that Ben Shapiro lizard tail shit because that's funny. That's fucking funny. And Jim, just the last couple here. Jim, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for being here for 19 months. A very respected and valued member of the community. We appreciate you. Happy holidays to my great Blunt Politics family, he says. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you for your passion, your loyalty, your involvement in politics, supporting the right side of history. And we can't appreciate you enough. We can't thank you for being here enough. And again, more than a welcomed part of this community, definitely a respected and valued member. Thank you, Roxanne, for being here for 8 months. Happy holidays to you and yours. Hugs right back to you, Roxanne, from everybody here. We appreciate you. We thank you. And we hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful holiday season with you and your loved ones. Same thing for Mark, Woman TV Right. I mean, just bragging about that still is so ridiculous. So fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's like, again, I can see if it was like a test that didn't get out to the public and you could kind of bullshit your way through it and lie about it. But to have a readily available test that, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have taken, it's so asinine. It's so fucking asinine. But thank you, Mark, for both of your contributions there. I really do appreciate it. Same thing for Ruben, dude. Thank you, Ruben. Appreciate that for the 5. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays from me and mine to you and yours. Can't thank you guys enough. I really can't. I hope you guys have all having the most amazing holiday season. If not, I hope you are feeling appreciated and respected for the time that you give to channels just like mine. So thank you, Ruben. I appreciate you, brother. Oh, thank you, Robin, for the 20. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Brian, Mel, and fam. She says, right back at you, Robin. I appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for everything that you guys have all continuously been doing for so long and putting up with Donald Trump, the Republican Party, even the bullshit from Democrats. I know it's tough. I know it's frustrating. I know we have to fight through it. And I can't commend you guys enough for having the passion and the stability and the ability to continuously fight on our side. So thank you so much. And rounding it out is Roxanne. Thank you, Roxanne. Happy holidays to you and yours. Thanks for being you. Hugs right back at you again, Roxanne. And then again to Yakov. Tell Vance I cooked a turkey for Hanukkah because we like it. Yeah. Nobody likes turkey, Yakov. You know that. You know that. Nobody's going to cook a 20-pound bird. It sucks. It's dry. Apparently, Usha Vance doesn't know a damn thing about cooking. But I appreciate you, Yakov. Happy Hanukkah. I hope the best for you and your holiday season for you, your loved ones, your kid. I can't thank you enough for your support and your loyalty and everything you do and sharing out the videos and sharing out the lives. All of you guys that do this on Blue Sky and Substack, wherever it may be that you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, I don't know where the fuck it is, Facebook, anywhere. I really appreciate you guys for staying loyal to me, staying loyal to the cause, and staying on the right side of history. So I appreciate it. I'll see you guys. What's today? Sunday. I'll see you Tuesday for the Tuesday show. Hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. We're on our way rapidly to 20,000 subscribers and to a little bit of legitimacy in this aspect, in this game. And not only that, but I do hopefully have some great guests coming up on the show. So I've reached out to a few. I'm just going to show you one here. I don't know if you're familiar with him or if you've seen some of his videos, but I'm just going to play one here to give you just a little bit of an idea of who we're trying to get on this show. Ready? Check this out. Oh, can you do sound? Is there no sound? Let me get the sound on there. My bad. How do you get sound? Here you go.
So if you could take the time to share this video, that would just mean the world to me. It's come to my attention that a lot of people have become upset with me over a video that I posted called Crash Out that has since been shared in the media like an iPhone charger, especially in the country music space after last Friday.
This is Brian Andrews, and he's been an outspoken advocate for and against things like what ICE is doing, for marginalized communities. He's a country music singer. He's been getting backlash from the right ever since he started speaking out. And I just think he would be a fantastic guest to go along with the way that we speak here, the rhetoric that we espouse, and the policies that we believe in. I think it'd be a great voice and a great guest here. And I'm hoping to line up, even more guests like this, even more politicians. It's very difficult. I've had, you guys know several times in which I had politicians or people running for political office scheduled, and then at the last second, they either don't show up or, they forget or whatever it is, and something happens. So it's not like I'm not trying behind the scenes to do this. It's just not the easiest to do. And at some point, I become extremely frustrated with the bullshit and the rigmarole of the back end trying to do this. And I don't have the patience for that. I really don't. So, I like when people stick to their word. I like when people, tell me they're going to be there and they be there. there, and it's just not that easy in this industry. So again, we're fighting through it, but I'm sure I'll get used to it at some point, and I'll become more accustomed to dealing with the bullshit. But again, I just don't have the patience to be not lied to, but forgotten about, and not viewed as important enough to that type of shit. It pisses me the fuck off. So anyways, looking forward to having Brian on. We haven't really hashed anything specific out yet, but it would be a great opportunity to have fantastic guests on that you guys would enjoy the rhetoric of. So I appreciate it. I'll see you Tuesday. Let me get the fuck out of here before I take up the rest of your day. Thank you to everybody, mods, chat. You guys are fantastic. Always have been, always will be. And I can't thank you enough for your support and your loyalty of the show. Again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. Subscribe. We're on our way to 20K. Thank you so much. Share the show out on social media. Leave a comment after it posts. Leave an emoji in the chat. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Stay loud. Stay proud. Stay aggressive. Continue to kick ass at every turn. Do not let up. Do not take your foot off the gas, but make sure you're staying safe, all right? Keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you're staying safe. I appreciate it. Till next time, I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. I do appreciate you, and I'll see you. Oh, hold on. One more. You got it in. Happy holidays, Boston Brian. Primary Brendan Gill in New Jersey. He is a Democrat and a blankist. He's running for the 11th Congressional District. Please Google him. Love you guys. Happy holiday, Primary Brendan Gill in New Jersey. He is a Democrat and a blankist. He's running in the 11th Congressional District. Please Google him. Love you guys. Well, I appreciate the information. I will definitely make sure to look into that, because we want to make sure that we're obviously highlighting and backing the appropriate candidates, whatever side of the aisle, you know what I mean? So I appreciate that information, DPD. Thank you so much. I'll look more into that and see if we can kind of dig more into, again, calling out people that deserve to be called out, regardless of who they are. So thank you. I'll see you Tuesday. I'm out of here. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I appreciate you. Take it easy. Bye, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Can't appreciate you any more than I do. I really could.
For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real? It's a new form of vicious violation to our country. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. God bless the United States. Yesterday's a hard word for me. You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it. What uranium is, right? This thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things.
No, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off!
How do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president? Seriously, how do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president?
Or go fuck yourself.
I didn't say mud, I said crud. Calling us some crud or something?
He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
I'll admit, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
Man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
In the hell was that all about?
We are a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
He says rectum damn near killed him.
Thank you, Missouri. Thank you, Kentucky. Thank you everywhere that you guys walk, both inside the United States and out. I really can't thank you guys enough. Have a great day. Please make sure to support other independent creators as well, guys. Love you. See you later. Bye.
Yes, of course, hence the name. Movement, it moves a certain distance, then it stops, you see. A revolution gets its name by always coming back around in your face. You tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. Well, welcome to the revolution.
Gettysburg, what an unbelievable battle that was. The Battle of Gettysburg, what an unbelievable, I mean, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways. It represented such a big portion of the success of this country. Gettysburg, wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch. Army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. For miners, do we love miners? I love miners. For miners, do we love miners? I love miners. It's a new form of vicious violation to our country.